ink, and then tap it, and then you'll find that you get more coverage of ink.
Okay, that's a good tip.
On the other side, if you don't, take a cotton bud, tap it into your ink, and just fill in the little bits where it's solid.
That's a good tip. Like that one.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do you remember we mentioned about these bouncing back? We've had a couple,
Oh,
two bounce back. If you want to get hold of these, a quick run to those phone lines, get onto the website, check your basket out quickly, because a couple of people have let their orders kind of lapse. At 452-267 if you want in those, but they will go £9.99. And of course, if you want to go for both of those, it's not greedy at all, just go for it.
Right, so that's the Harlequin.
Nice design that.
It's a lovely that, yeah. And that again, great for decoupages, you know, stamp them and cut them out and I'll do all the rest of it. So what I do is a piece of copy paper underneath, because it will stamp through the tissue.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because it does have very many perforations in it you don't see. So let's just do this one as well. Okay. So there you go.
Lovely.
How pretty is that? So what I need to do.
Oh, have you become unplugged?
I'm unplugged.
Oh dear.
It's all right. Nobody needs to go and rush and put 5p in the gas meter.
Right,
we're fine. It's just me again moving from one set to another, and didn't bother to check.
There we go. That's lovely.
Switching it on helps too.
Got all the mod cons here.
What, like switches?
No expensive.
And the only reason I'm just doing this is because I've used a VersaFine.
Okay.
And a VersaFine has got an oily base. So it will dry on this, but just to stop it smudging. I mean, you have a lot more time than I do.
Okay. Now we're busy with everything that Leslie has brought to us today. So whether you're going for your pick and mix, taking advantage of that saving, going for those stamp sets individually, or maybe you're going for that large A4 one that we're working with at the moment. Don't forget that cling. I think it could well have gone by now, the cling. If it's still there, check your baskets out down to the final one, the solitary one. And then don't forget we've got those additional bases as well. Whatever you want to add into your basket, my advice is do it as quick as you can, because we are getting busier and busier on those phone lines, and I would hate for you to miss out on anything. This isn't the kind of show that you kind of sit and take a rest, come back and watch on rewind and see all those fabulous demonstrations, because the key thing is get the elements that you need, and then you can follow those demonstrations when you receive all your goodies.
So I'm just wetting this fairly well, okay? And don't go too close to the image, because it's very easy to tear it, but you know, go fairly in so you get a good thing, okay? And I will just do the other one as well, hoping that this.
And why are you wetting it?
Because that way you get a nice ragged edge.
Okay.
If you get a straight edge and you're going to actually, which I'm going to do, is going to put this onto this playing card. It gives it too straight an edge. It's too precise.
Okay.
Once you glue it on, if you do a ragged edge, it blends into the background.
Makes sense.
So you don't see it. So you need to hold it and tear. Put your finger over the image so it doesn't tear into it too much. Okay, like that. And then that way you get a nice kind of, doesn't matter, I've taken that bit off. Not worried about that. So you see that blends much easier.
Like a feathery edge to
yes,
it now.
yeah,
Okay.
And I'll do the same with this one.
Lovely.
Just because I'm not going to put all of it on, I will trim parts of it off. But if I've just got a little bit of a feathery bit to start with.
So is it worth keeping those scraps as well?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, because you can stamp on them, or you can roll them up, and you can add interest to put glue on and just prep them in, and then paint them over with gesso, ready to do something else on top.
And of course some of those worker stamps are little tiny stamps as well,
Yeah.
so using the tiniest pieces.
Yeah. So let's go for. Okay, now I'll need to do a bit of gluing, I'm afraid.
What sort of glue do we need?
Yes, Mod Podge is a good one.
Okay.
Glue and seal, or any kind of matte medium even, as long as it's got an adhesive property. And mediums do, they will tell you if you can use it as an adhesive, so when you get all your mediums and that, I'll just check on the back. Okay. Sometimes a gel medium will do it as well.
Lovely.
So just make sure your brush is semi-dry, because otherwise you dilute your glue and it doesn't stick as well.
Damp, not moist.
That's the one. Okay. So, glue.
No, we've got lots of people who've got things in their baskets, and I can't blame you sitting watching the demonstrations, but I do urge you to keep an eye on those baskets, because some of those items may well fall out, just like as we saw with the klingling a little while ago. I'll be giving you a recap in the next few moments though, so when Leslie has come to the end of the demonstration, be ready to pounce on those phone lines and websites to check those baskets out.
Okay, so look, I'm not going to put it all on, I'm just going to put that onto there.
Okay.
Okay. And then just use that, just use a bit of your glue just to bind it down. Now a tip here is, if you use a glue that is too waterproof or too glossy, then you won't be able to stand by doing anything on the top, because it'll just glide off it.
Okay, so would that kind of seal it?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So if you didn't want to go any further, then you could seal it at that.
I kind of like that monochromatic look though, I must
Yeah,
admit.
I don't dislike it.
It's a different look to it.
Yeah, so I'm going to just heat this one, because I want to just dry it off, and then I'm just going to trim this off. What I would do is trim it.
So this time get your scissors involved.
Yes, because I'm going to the edge. Okay. I do tend to advocate more or less using a sander, but not on a card like this. It's too thin. It'll spoil, it'll tear. And if you're not sure whether you've got any bits, just do that to the edge, and then just run your finger around it, and it'll stick it all down.
Okay.
So you won't get any edges bumping up. Right, now the second part of this, that's dry, yes, is to take some alcohol inks.
Oh, okay.
Good old-fashioned alcohol inks, and let's take oregano, and I think somewhere I've got terracotta, butterscotch. Butterscotch will do fine. Okay, and I'm going to create a little bit of a background on here. So a couple of dabs of the, I mean, alcohol inks used to be really, really popular so long ago, and I thought, you know what, it's the time we start revisiting them.
Well, this is it, because we do kind of build up our crafty collections, don't we? So
Yes.
yeah, bringing things out that you've not used for a little while.
Yeah.
We've seen that resurgence in people using their binder tools and things like that.
Yeah.
And,
So all I'm going to do, look, is just, and because I put that resist on it, it actually does do, it operates, it works like the alcohol inks do, look. So I'm just creating that little bit, not going too mad, because I still want some of the white to show through, but that's a way of creating the background, giving it a bit of depth.
Lovely.
So put that on there. That should be dry, but I just want to move that out the way, out of the new piece, and I'm going to put this on the top. Okay. So it might need a little bit of assistance.
Speedy crafting here, aren't we? So.
Yes, I am trying to be fairly quick.
You've been busy, busy, busy. Again, lots of you adding those items into your baskets. Don't forget, add those items in. Comes to £60 or more, you'll be able to turn your order into a flexi order and spread the cost over £2. So that's worth considering. And if you're watching internationally as well, then by all means do get involved, because we have people watching from America.
Yeah, we have. We're very fortunate, aren't we? Joining everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got quite, you know, just take a little bit of extra off at that point, because you've only got a small amount, you can tear it off. Okay, and now I'm going to stick that there, look. And then if I do that over the top, suddenly that blends in, but you've got that colour through.
That's nice.
Okay. Again, dry it off very quickly. Okay. And then to finish, I'll show you, I've got one finished, but I wanted to show you how these processes worked.
So if you're not into your ATCs, I mean, that would make a perfect little topper. A couple of those, maybe on a 6x6 card, just kind of
Ideal.
They'd work
Ideal.
perfectly.
You know, you've got to sort of try some, you know, toppers don't necessarily have to be out of bits of card. And, you know, playing cards sometimes tend to be things, you know, I tend to look sometimes at things you've got in your house. Now then I haven't quite caught that, so if I just do that with the glue and stick it down there, it's stuck.
Bit of a tickle. There we go.
So that does that. Now from there, what I've done is I've taken a white gel pen
okay, yeah.
over the top
the daisy,
to pick out the daisy.
Yeah, nice.
But doesn't that make a good...
That's very effective,
Now,
isn't it?
to finish it off, let's go here. Got a card. So it doesn't have to be, but I'm now turning it into a topper, obviously. Okay. I'm taking similar colours to what I've used already in the background. I've got a fossilised amber and I've got the distress, peel paint.
And don't forget distress inks. We've got a brilliant deal with regards to those. Jump onto the website. I think we've got pick and mixes with those. Pretty much one of the staples that's on the website. So just into the search field that you've got on the website, put distress inks in, you'll see them pop up.
So I've just put them on my acrylic block and spritzed it. Okay, and created my...
Nice,
oh, that's,
like
sorry,
that.
that's, you know, extra.
Oh, you can have that one. That's bonus.
Yeah, I am doing it quickly, obviously.
That's not a problem at all. It's lovely. Adds to the nature and the organic feel as a card, I think.
Yeah, so again, just a quick spritz off it. It's just another way of creating some interest with your acrylic block, you know, with a background.
Mm.
Okay.
It's an affordable way of crafting as well, because if you're making your cards to sell, or fundraising, that's another typical
Yes,
one where people
absolutely.
are fundraising.
Yeah.
You don't get reimbursed for your product. So you,
No.
if you were using background papers, you're kind of going into your stash that you can't replenish.
Yeah.
Just by using a little bit of ink, you're building up a fabulous background, but
Yeah.
so much more economically.
Absolutely, well said, Hayley. It is, isn't it? And also it's a dimension and the weight,
Yeah.
because postage is so expensive nowadays, and I understand that. So I'll try and create. So let's go back to the daisy. Okay, and my black ink.
And talking of which, if we're talking about fundraising and selling cards, is that okay with the stamps that we're working
One
with?
to infinity.
Lovely, like that.
As long as they're
Makes
hand
it
stamped.
easy.
As long as they're hand stamped, that's absolutely fine. Long stamp, so I tend to go across over and down like so.
So rotate the card, not yourself.
Yes, that's the one. Because it's much easier to press across than it is to try and press from
Yeah,
top to bottom.
Makes sense.
There's your stamp
Oh,
look.
Look at that.
And
Beautiful.
now, glue, which I did have. Yes, I have. Okay. Or foam, you know, whatever you wish to
Sure.
have. I'm just doing this very quickly. But then you need to match it up. So it goes like that, look.
Oh, that's clever.
And you're creating just that little bit of extra off there. Like that.
Very
Okay.
contemporary look.
Isn't it?
Like that, yes.
Yeah. I would have stuck that a bit quick early, but you know, you can appreciate where I'm coming from. And then finally I've put some words on here, which are ours, and I've already placed them where I want them. So here's another thing. Okay. To stamp that. It's already in the right position. So if you worry about it, put them on your block and then pick them up.
Good tip. Oh, look at that. Just be amazing.
There you go.
That's fabulous. I love that. Isn't that fabulous? So achievable, that's the key thing.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, you're thinking, those are gorgeous finished samples that we've seen. There's no way I can create that. Just see how when you break it down, that's the kind of results that you get. Leslie, thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Thank you.
If you want to get hold of these, then all you need to do is jump onto the website. And don't forget, we've got the stamps, the details of which are up on your screen, but don't forget those basics as well. The basics that are key with these. So if you're wanting to go for those mixed media shapes, don't forget you've got your hearts, you've got those huge postcards, as well as the circles in there. And we've got some fabulous 5-star reviews there. Great useful shapes at a great price. As you can see, they're definitely the new MDF, definitely an affordable way of getting hold of these. Wow, these boards are fantastic if you're doing mixed media, and also light enough to make it as an embellishment on your card. That's a really valid point, because you don't want to add weight to the front of your card, do you either? Don't forget, if you want to get hold of those, you can add those into your baskets alongside your pick and mix. Now, I've stepped away from Leslie, as you probably noticed. So as I said, I'm not the slightest bit offended if you don't want to listen to a word I have to say and you're choosing to jump onto the website or to give us a call and get your order on the system. Whichever way you're wanting to get involved, please make sure you do it now, because we've got lots of you adding things to your baskets on the website, but you've yet to check out your basket. Now is the time to do it. Leslie and Judith is just swapping places, and I will head back over in that direction in a moment. But in the meantime, feast your eyes on these beauties. 4 fabulous stamp plates available to you in a pick and mix, and you can choose any 2 of these for just £29.98. What gets even better is if you don't want to go for 2 with that saving, then you can go for them individually, and they are beautiful. So let's have a little look at that first one, and this is a gorgeous one, as you can see here. Beautiful one. This is your Briar Rose. So here you've got lots of different elements. Now obviously with the packaging, those images do have to be scaled down a little so that they will fit on. You've got a huge stamp plate, as you can see here, with those large images featuring on there. So every single one of those, they're going to be larger images. But the Briar Rose, beautiful, as you can see. Compilations there. So if you want something quick and easy, or you don't want to build up that composition yourself, then you don't have to. But equally so, you've got those little worker stamps in there, which mean that you can give them their complete twist that you want, and to add in your own colours, and you get a different look each and every time. So that one's your Briar Rose. Just across from the Briar Rose, you've got your hair belt. And again, this is a beautiful one. Very delicate flowers this time, but again, you could mix up those colours. You can kind of take on that stance that you can turn them into whatever flowers you like them to be. The original artwork obviously being harebells, but change those colours, bring in your whites, your yellows, perhaps a little bit of blue in there to get a different look each time. And again, you've got the composition already done, or you've got the individuals too as well. Absolutely gorgeous designs, very delicate designs with these two as well. So I'm just making sure I picked up the right one here. I think I have with this particular one, but absolutely gorgeous. To be honest, whichever of these finished samples you pick up, they're gorgeous designs, each and every one of them. Butterflies obviously being the theme running through them. So then if we move on from the particular set, which one should we look at next? Should we have a little look at the thistle? There, oh, the thistle's gorgeous. And of course, very traditional, people often from Scotland featuring thistles within their cards. But of course, we all love the beauty of them. Gorgeous purples that you get from those, kind of standing out in the heather, aren't they, in the countryside. Again, a lovely composition, but take the colour out altogether and just use it as a silhouette. But what an effective look. This couldn't be simpler with the card, but the composition that this has been put together to give you that incredible result, and then of course just add in a beautiful inspirational quote, many of which have come from Chocolate Baroque as well. You can just finish off that card to perfection. And then the final one that you've got to choose from is this one, Honeysuckle. This is the one that's proven to be most popular during this hour, and I must admit it's one of my favourite flowers. Gorgeous heady scent, and of course it brings all those fabulous insects into our gardens too as well. This one again, just like the others, a gorgeous way of stamping, as you can see here, whether it's using it as a resist, whether you're using it just to add your colour, or maybe you're adding your embossing powders. The quality of a stamp is shown when you use embossing powders, because of course you can lose that complexity of the design, the detail, the definition when you add the powders, but not when you're working with a Chocolate Baroque stamp. 4 fabulous stamp plates, all of these available individually at $16.99, and I'm sure you've seen those details whizzing around on your screen as I've been chatting, but equally so at the bottom of your screen, that's where you're going to get your saving. A pick and mix, you can choose any two. Maybe you'll go for the top two, maybe you'll go for the bottom two, maybe you'll go on the diagonal. It's entirely up to you, but whichever way you get hold of these, make sure that you make your choices and check your baskets out as quickly and as soon as you possibly can. 718781. Now, as I head back over to the demo area, feast your eyes on this gorgeous stamp plate. It's an A4 stamp plate, and it's one of the ones that we just saw our lovely Leslie working with just a few moments ago. Very busy for this one as well. You're liking this one a lot. £19.99, 279073. And I love that amalgamation that you've got of kind of the geometrics alongside the beauty of the delicacy of those flowers there, and of course the butterflies too as well. Fancy adding this one to your basket, then it couldn't be simpler. Just give us a call or jump onto the website and take advantage of that. Now I'm headed back to the demo area. I've just got to show everybody this. This is beautiful, Judith.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Just shows that you can use it in so many different ways.
Yeah, and it's something that you can have as a lovely piece of home decor around the home, and it makes the stamps a bit more than something that's going to be looked at for a little while. I mean, true. I give cards to people and they say they keep them. Yes. They don't like to throw them away, but this is something that you could have, as a treasured memento.
And this could be a gift, and you could have a gift tag that's made with the same stamps, the card made with the same stamps.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Love it. So, anyway, we're going to digress. What are we up to now then?
Okay, I'm going to make a card today.
Okay.
But Leslie said that I ought to show this. It's a project I made using... Is this
you being modest as you're rolling your eyes there and telling me?
Maybe a little bit. I made a project using some of our stamps from the stamp sets that we've got available today, but it's mixing and matching with some of our other stamps and stamps from other companies. Yes. And we always advocate mixing our stamps with our own stamps and stamps from other companies. So I just want to show you that we've got lots of images from the Poppy Daisy Collage
look at this
stamp set in here.
Oh, I can see why Leslie wanted us to see this. This is a work of art.
And it's going to be showing the technique that I'm going to demonstrate today.
Oh, I can't wait to see how we do this. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Beautiful. Right, okay. So what do we need to do to get started?
This is the card that we're going to go for today.
Oh, look.
And I'm using bold, bright background, and we're going to be painting with bleach.
Oh, okay.
All right, so...
Intrigued.
I'm going to just quickly create a piece of background using Distress Inks, which is going to make part of the background that we're going to use today.
Lovely.
And so I'm just going to show you how I would blend the background very quickly. So I'm going to start off with one of my paler colours and just create the background. So I always knock a little bit of colour off first so that I don't get a mark from my blending tool. And you can use whatever you like to blend your background. So you could use brushes, blending tools, you could use the little makeup sponges, or whatever you have, cheap shaving brushes, whatever you have in your toolkit that you choose to blend your backgrounds. So, you know, don't feel that you've got to have exactly what I'm using. You know, just use whatever you've got at home in your stash. So I'm creating a rainbow background, and I'm blending close to the colour above. And I can always go back to get rid of any lines with my previous colour, just going back to that colour before.
Nice.
Okay,
Right,
and that's
nice.
effectively what I'm doing. So I'm not going to do any more of that because I'm very conscious of time.
Okay.
But I just wanted to show how I created a smooth
Thank you.
blended background.
Lovely.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to take a small piece of a drawing cartridge, which we often have on the shows, and I just want to use 3 colours, and I'm going to use yellow in the middle as I did before, and red at the top.
Oh, that's nice red.
Yeah, as I say, I've gone for very bright colours.
Nice. Nice happy colours.
Yeah, it's a very, very cheerful project, this one. And blue at the bottom. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Turn this around just because it's easier. And so I don't get finger marks on here. This is a tip that I found. I use one of my lids.
Yeah.
It stops my piece of card from moving.
Now, just while as Judith's adding that colour, I need to tell you about this one. This has proved to be very, very busy. We've seen a real surge in allocations with regards to this one. Lots of you adding this one into your basket. Don't forget, it's A4 in size. It's a huge stamp plate, but you've got all sorts of elements in here as well. If you're wanting to get hold of this one, you need to do it sooner rather than later. You've got large compositions that have been built up here for you, making it nice and easy. But you've got 12 images in total, some of them being the smaller worker images, some of them being those hero stamps that we hear Leslie refer to. But it really is a fabulous mix of butterflies and florals and that gorgeous harlequin design as well. Just $19.99. Do not miss out on this one. You can see all those gorgeous designs featuring there as well. But just thought I'd better let you know about that one, because it could be the situation that when we get to the end of the demo we might not have those available. So just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, and then I've taken the large butterfly moth image, whichever you prefer to call it, from the butterfly daisy collage, and I'm going to stamp that on to my piece of card.
And that's a good point, because it's a collage. You haven't got kind of the is botanical the right word, or is it botanical or plants? I'm not sure. The biological definition there. So it's kind of it could be a moth if you're doing it in those kind of sepia tones, or it could those bright butterfly tones.
Exactly. I mean, the stamp set is absolutely brilliant, because you've got these slightly more modern, if you like, images, but depending on how you treat them, they could become very vintage looking if you use vintage colours. If you put them against a modern background, then they can look more modern.
Wow, look at that.
So, you know, it stamps beautifully.
And the detail that you've got,
it's a lovely
tiny
image.
speckles that you've got there, adding that shading as well.
Absolutely beautiful image. I love this one.
Fabulous.
Okay, I'm going to leave that to one side because it's a little bit damp, and I want to move on. So
nice, easy image to cut out, that one as well. It's nice, smooth.
A lot of
sometimes
these,
butterflies have got little kind of antennae and things. Makes it
a lot of these
interesting.
images are really easy to cut out, which makes moving along with your project nice and quick. Let's flip this over. So I've now got some bleach in a handy pot. Top tips for working with bleach: always make sure that you work in a well ventilated area. You know, don't sort of sit in a confined space. Don't lean right over your bleach. You know, make sure that you've got either a window open, or like in here we're fine because we're working with the air conditioning, etc. But you know, make sure that you're not in too confined an area.
And is this regular household bleach?
Yeah, just cheap household bleach. No.
Which I believe you can use for housework.
Well, I wouldn't really know about that. Okay, So I've got a fine brush, and I'm just going to tip the tip of my brush into the bleach, and depending on what colour, they react slightly differently, but I'm just going to stroke the bleach over the areas, and you can see it reacts instantly, very quickly. Yeah. Now obviously, if you didn't want to work with bleach, you could just use a white gel pen.
That's good too, huh?
But this is a very easy way of removing colour that you've got in an image.
Would you get similar results if you were to kind of do the faux bleaching, where you're using water and kind of dabbing the colour away?
Yeah, but this is a very quick, effective way.
It is, and you seem to get brighter white this way.
Yes, it's very, very white. Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly finish this.
Fine detail brush being the key with this one. And like you say, just the smallest amount in your pot.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got one more little bit to do there. So you can see how quickly that reacts.
Isn't that gorgeous?
I'll just do a little bit on
and
here.
Just while Judith works on that other piece, something else I need to tell you about is the whiteboard basics. You've been loving this one as well. Brilliant value for money. You've got those large postcard pieces there as well, kind of around an A6 in size, really good size. You've got those gorgeous hearts with those as well. Don't forget you've got your circles there. They are concentric sizes with those, so you can stack those if you wanted to. Perfect for any mixed media project, and perfect as bases as well if you wanted to make plaques and kind of little gifts with those two as well. £12.99 for all of those. There's 36 elements in there. Can you imagine creating those, using your stamps, and then perhaps selling what you've made? If you were just to sell everything for £1 a piece, which you wouldn't do because you get way more than that, that's £36 instantly, and you're just investing £12.99. Brilliant value for money. 134100, and of course the pick and mix is another really valuable bundle as well. Value because of the content within here, but the artwork, and also the fact that you are going to get that discount with these two as well. You're going to be able to choose any two of these stamp plates, whichever ones you're wanting to go for. Don't forget you've got your thistle, you've got your honeysuckle, you've also got, what else have we got with that one? I've forgotten. Hair bell and your briar rose. That's it. I couldn't remember the last two. Unusual names actually, don't often come across those two. So yeah, if you fancy adding those in, 619 531.
Okay, so to construct my card, I'm basically just going to stick a black mat. Black's quite dramatic against this rainbow colour.
Rainbow. Seeing rainbows everywhere on clothing on the high street, and it's really resurgence, which is nice.
Yeah. Just pull some of my little tabs out here. Find if I've got little tabs to see, I'm a very messy crafter because I chuck my
well, you're in good company then.
My double-sided
I, for one, am
everywhere.
also a very messy crafter.
Yeah,
just to give you a little heads up on time-wise, I've got about 10 minutes left.
I'm going very quick then. If we need to, I'll just come back to my finished card.
That's okay. Oh, now, do you remember that cling? The cling-a-ling. We've had one bounce back, one solitary one bounce back. So if you did manage to, or did try to get hold of this and found that your order wouldn't go through because it had sold out, one of these have bounced back. So £9.99. If you're quick, you might be fortunate to be able to get hold of that one, 452267. Don't forget we did sell out of it previously, and it is on extended delivery, 9th of October. But to be honest, it's not too long to wait. Definitely worthwhile adding to your basket.
Okay, and then all I did was I curled my leaves up slightly.
Oh, lovely.
I wanted to work out roughly where to put a little bit of foliage, and I've taken a leaf from one of the pick and mix sets.
Wonderful.
And I'm just going to pop that.
Oh, it's such a delicate image. She's amazing with her artwork, isn't she?
Yeah.
Beautiful designs.
And again, I'm just holding the leaf at the petals where I want to make sure that I've got the leaf in the right place.
And is this the leaf that was used to build up the wreath that we saw on that finished sample earlier?
Yeah.
Just shows you how versatile they are.
Yeah. And I'll just pop that on there.
Beautiful.
And again, I'm just going to curl the leaves slightly on the butterfly. Pop a bit of glue on there.
Lovely.
So I'm going to go back to my finished sample, and as you can see, I just stamped a sentiment on there.
Just adding a little sentiment just to finish it off. That's beautiful.
Okay.
I love it. There you go. Fabulous results. I love that. Love the tips and techniques there. We're full of them here at Hochanda. Now, of course, if you're wanting to get hold of that A4 stamp plate, featuring obviously the collage butterflies and the gorgeous collage flowers as well, details are on your screen, 279073, £19.99. But of course, we've got lots of different stamps for you to consider. Not only that stamp plate, the A4 one, but we've also got that pick and mix. Have a look what the design team have been up to with those. And while we've got the details for, oh, actually they're whizzing away as we speak about it. I just had to say, while we've got the details of the A4 stamp plate, I'm sure we'll bring it back up in a few moments. The flowers that we've got, I was just picking this up, Leslie. This is beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? That's by Brenda. Isn't that fantastic?
Gorgeous.
It's literally using that one of the more contemporary flowers out of the butterfly daisy collage, and then using the daisy itself to create that. And you know, I think it's such a sweet thing. I mean, fancy doing that and actually giving it to a bride.
Oh gosh, yes.
Or even a bridesmaid carrying that. Yeah. Something different.
It is. Certainly. So a keepsake, they can keep that afterwards, can't they,
yeah,
as well?
Yeah.
But of course, the pick and mix being the star of the hour, brilliant pick and mix. We've got 4 stamp plates for you to choose from. You can choose any 2 of these. Take advantage of these for £29.98. But don't forget, they are available individually as well. Gorgeous flowers, flowers that you don't often come across.
No,
things like the harebell and of course the briar rose.
Exactly, and it's just nice, you know, to actually show something a little bit different.
Yeah, like that.
And we all like florals, we all like butterflies. Combine the two, and hopefully you've got a winner.
Well, that's it.
And with Sue's drawings, you definitely have.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal. Yeah. Honeysuckle, as you can see there, alongside the thistles as well, completing all 4 of those different variations that we've got. Shall we have a look at some finished samples?
Yes,
as
absolutely, because there's just some.
This is where you see the beauty of that artwork. Of course, Sue has worked with you for a long time.
Yes,
she gorgeous
has,
designs.
Yes,
Very fortunate to
we are.
us her artwork.
Yeah, we are. And, you know, to turn them into stamps is just incredible.
That's it.
That's a very good one. Look at that
That's a clever design. Can you see the die cutting that's gone on there?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And then
very clever.
Look at this.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Oops, where are we? There, look, can we? Are we?
That's beautiful.
There, look at that. I mean, that's just a glorification of wonder of colour and design. Isn't that beautiful?
Just shows you how you can kind of lend those stamps to other kind of collections.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
might have dies that allow you to score and fold your card or do fancy edges, but having a key feature of the artwork featuring within those can make all the difference. Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. Very dreamy background with that
beautiful.
one.
And Zoe is our envelope queen.
Oh, see, we forget about our envelopes, don't we?
She's a lot of envelope art.
Story.
And I have to say, if that landed on your map, wouldn't that be the one you opened first?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You keep that for storage as well. Of course, next one that we've got working along from the fabulous Briar Rose. Was it the Briar Rose that we've just looked at a few moments ago?
No, this one was the
harebell, wasn't it? Harebell.
Yes, yes.
Briar Rose is the one that we moved on to. Yeah. And again, dreamy, dreamy backdrops with these ones. Again, is this a similar technique to the one that we saw in your demonstration earlier?
Yes,
with the backdrop?
yes, yeah, absolutely. And then use it as a background, you know, and then make it pop.
Clever.
Isn't it?
Do like that as well. Shows that it works with your alcohol markers as well, so if you want that power of colour in there.
But if you want contemporary,
there you go.
That's
perfect.
Totally, you know, totally different again, isn't it?
Beautiful. Absolutely. Beautiful. This is nice as well. You've kind of got that subdued backdrop, but then the vibrancy of the butterflies.
And then this one, I know you like, because I know you like things like this.
Oh,
look at
this. Oh, the interest that you've got with all those different. Let's just pop those down so we can have a real proper look at this.
That's by Carol, and she's done her own. She's done her own backing paper as well.
Beautiful.
So if anybody watched the Craft Individual show, I had a demonstrations in there yesterday. I did a masterboard.
Okay.
So this would be a good way of doing a masterboard and then using
Nice
bits
idea.
of it within your project.
Do love that idea. Of course, got more for you to consider though, because of course you've got the fabulous thistles as well. And I remember many years ago people coming into my shop and asking for thistle stamps.
Yes,
You just don't often
and
see
you
them.
don't see often,
No.
very often. So it's nice again, like I say, back to contemporary. This I think is what I call a real classic card, and I'm not being disrespectful for that. I think that's beautiful. I think the colours are gorgeous, and this just by changing the colour
Look at
makes
that.
it more contemporary,
Totally
doesn't
different
it?
look. Totally different look, but it's
Yeah.
the exact same stamp that we've got there as well. Very, very clever. Of course, you can be decoupage, you're building up your design as well, because of course you've got the compilation that's been put together.
Yes.
But then you can take the individual elements and build up your own backdrop if you wanted to.
I mean, they all mix and match together, so it doesn't
It
matter
does.
whether you use this flower from that one and the butterfly from another and the
Yeah.
moth from another. You know, it's
That's it. And of course, finally, you've got your honeysuckle that's going to be featuring with these two as well. And this is the one that you've been loving, the honeysuckle.
It's, I think it's always
through the
one
same
that you
colour.
tend to get drawn to, doesn't you? You know?
Beautiful.
And look at that. There's that wreath created with one of the
Gorgeous.
worker stamps and some butterflies.
Beautiful.
How fabulous?
Colour that you've got with these as well, the simplicity of
I
just
love
taking
that.
a key little. Do love that. Makes that statement stand out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But again, if you're just making little notelets as well, really is a brilliant set. Now, of course, details on your screen for your pick and mix. You choose any 4 of those stamp plates, as you can see on your screen there, 619531. And of course, during this hour, we've had the benefit of having lovely Leslie with us, and of course, fabulous Judith, who's just joining us as well. Judith, what's it been like working with these stamps?
They're such fun to work with. The images are lovely. And I also love to see the design team samples come in as well, because everybody has a different take on the images. And you know, when you get the stamps home yourselves, you'll find that you'll do something different with them as well.
So true,
Yeah.
so true. And your heart must sing when you see the artwork that Susan's
Absolutely.
drawing.
I mean, David is the one that actually opens it up because he loves to do that, and we also ring all the girls to say it's arrived safely and this is great and wonderful, and it is like Christmas all the time.
Oh, isn't it?
Because it, like I said, back to what I keep saying. Put an art stamp in your hand, you've got art for life.
Sure.
Because we guarantee our stamps for a lifetime.
Well, this is the point. We haven't actually mentioned that. And as long as you're looking after your stamps, and you do indeed do that, don't you?
If there was ever a fault with your stamp, you get in touch with us and we would replace it, providing, you know, you hadn't put it through the dishwasher, let the dog play with it, you know.
That's it, yeah.
All the
You
other
don't
things.
replace ones that have got teeth marks in them.
No.
Now, don't forget, you've got another show coming up a little later on.
No, that's it.
Oh,
We're
is that
finished.
it now?
This
You're
is it.
finished? Oh,
This
I
is
see.
us.
All
We're-
right. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
thinking-
3 o'clock it's now,
I've been on 5 times in the last 2 days. I'm sure you've had enough of me now.
But if we want to meet up
Thank
with
you, everybody.
Stamp Magic, Doncaster, you can
Stamp
be there
Magic
as well.
and Port Sunlight on Saturday.
That's it. And thank you so much, Judith, for your inspiration as well.
Thank you.
Fabulous
Thanks,
finished
everybody.
samples. Stay tuned, more coming up. See you in a minute. I'm losing track of what day and time it is. Now, coming up straight after the break, we've got fabulous Hayley and Dave crafting yourself silly with huge balls of yarn. Love it. And then we're going to be shining with Pearlex and Posca and the lovely Alison. And then back with your final call.
These fantastic extra strong permanent glue tape pens are a massive 22 metres in length. This amazing value 3-pack of glue pens are super strong, double-sided and are suitable for use on all types of paper, card and are even strong enough to make boxes. To take advantage of this great deal, go to Hochanda.com.
Hi, I'm Jenny Mays from Hobby Art. Hobby Art's a family-run company and we've been designing and manufacturing stamps for over 28 years now. We have an extensive range of clear and rubber stamps and we're proud that they're all manufactured in Britain. Whatever your style, there's always something that will interest you with Hobby Art stamps. Crafting is my passion and I love teaching. I love sharing my ideas with other people. This is why I enjoy being part of the Hochanda family, because I have the time to share my ideas, maybe open a door for somebody and give them the confidence to start stamping. So make sure you join me, Jenny Mays, on Hochanda.
Hello, I'm Sue Trangmar and I started Daisy Chain Designs 20 years ago. Back in the day, there were very few quilt patterns in the marketplace, and so I started to bring patterns into the UK from America and Australia, and along the way I've been lucky enough to work with some fantastic British designers, and that is what really the essence of daisy chain designs are. At Daisy Chain Designs, we're passionate about sewing and quilting. We design projects that hopefully will inspire you to pick up your needle and thread and have a go. We have great fun in designing things from the very start, and then the end product is always very exciting when you actually see it made. So don't miss the Daisy Chain Design shows on Hochanda.
Up he pops. Right on cue. Hello, not you pop right on cue. Hello, good afternoon everybody. Welcome along. It is Craft Yourself Silly. Lovely Hayley is with us. Great to have your company. We've got some embroidery to do a little bit later on.
But we have a happy hour deal.
We have.
Now you may have seen Mary Beth on before, and this is one of her products.
Wow.
This is Mary Beth Temple, based in America. But she obviously is not here today, so we're helping her out. And this is the Merino Super Chunky Yarn. Now, this is absolutely amazing. You can see we're just knitting a bit of arm knitting at the minute. And arm knitting is super simple, and we've got some samples that we'll show you in just a second, but I'm going to quickly run you through how to do it. So, yarn's at the front.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab it, take that one over the top, and then the new loop onto the other hand. So again, that's down the front.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab it, over the top, new loop onto this arm.
Pretty simple, isn't it?
It's really straightforward. And with this, oh, where's my thing gone? There it is. Super chunky yarn, it grows so quickly.
I mean, you did that in 5 minutes.
I did. I was eating chili about 15 minutes ago. And now I'm not eating chili. My dinner is still in the office.
But you're arm knitting.
And I'm arm knitting.
Oh wow!
And you just keep going.
What's the idea?
You
make what from this?
So
Blankets?
with this super chunky, I would say it's either scarves or home decor. So you can make a lovely cushion, lovely throw from this. Really, really simple. Now, when it comes to the balls that we'll show you in a second, look amazing and pretty scary. Now, when it comes to you, it will have been vacuum packed, so it'll come looking a little smaller. Right. So don't panic.
But let the air get into it, and it'll soon grow.
Don't panic. Yes. So it's dead simple. So it goes from one hand. You hold it in that same hand that your stitch is on.
Yeah.
Take it over the top and pop it onto the next arm. And you can see on this side, because we're doing effectively knitting one way and purling the other way, you get two different sides to it. You get that completely flat kind of knitted side,
yep,
or you get the ribbed side as well.
Now, I've got to let you know, this is our happy hour deal. Literally, either while stocks last or until the end of this hour, this price holds. But after the hour, it's going to go back up by £17. You're saving a whopping £17 by ordering it now. $49.99 is the cost of the yarn normally. Today, you get it for $32.99. And you can choose grey or pink, or I think we call it blush, or the white, OK? So we've got them over there. We'll show you the kind of balls of yarn in just a second, because they are huge. 32, they are whoppers.
Great, isn't it?
$32.99.
Everybody's been playing with them.
That is your happy hour price. $32.99, 313894, blush grey or natural, not white. Natural is the one. There we go, look. But look, and you get full instructions with it?
No, you do not get a pattern with it, because obviously Mary Beth is having let me see, issues at the minute, because her house was unfortunately washed away in the floods over there. So this is why I'm doing it for her instead of her.
But
she wasn't able to get over.
Record the show, watch it back on Rewind, and you can copy what Hayley's just done.
It's dead simple. There are loads of tutorials to do arm knitting on the internet as well, so you can easily find how to cast on, cast off, and do a bit of arm knitting.
Shall we just show you the colours?
We will, yes. I'll just take this off my arm, because otherwise I'll be stuck with it.
Have a look at the website.
I've not used that much of it either. I've got quite a lot.
Check the website, because you'll see everything that's there in the show today from Hayley, Craft Yourself Silly. We've got our Stitchenaries coming up. We've got our embroidery doodles as well, with some brand new ones. But here we've got the actual ball of yarn. This is merino wool. It's really, really soft. It's incredible luxury. And I've never seen a ball of yarn this big in my life. In my life. Now, it doesn't look very big there, does it?
No.
You think, oh, it's a ball of yarn. Yeah. $32.99, 313894. Look at the size of it. Absolutely huge. That's the
Now,
natural.
well, it is vacuum packed, so don't worry, you're not going to be presented with this giant ball of yarn. That's kind of, there you go.
That's how it comes.
There's your comparison. So you can see it's probably about kind of.
We are getting busy.
side.
You know, normally with a happy hour we may save you £3 or £4 on something. This is a £17 saving. Do you want to go for a couple?
So
Take advantage of
I've
the
got some
price.
samples that are here. So this one is more of a throw bed runner size.
Oh, Leonie had this over her
same way
shoulders.
that I was doing it before, which will give you knit on one side and that one's the purl side, and then there you go, the kind of ribbed knit side. So that will give you a two-sided one. That's the same way as I was doing it just at the beginning of the show. Got a couple of other samples here as well that have used slightly different techniques, and all of these you'll be able to find on the Tinterweb. So again, could be an awesome scarf there.
Well, I saw Leonie wearing this morning. She was a bit cold, and I thought, wow, what have you got around your neck? It looks incredible.
We've been using that one actually for photographs. When we've been doing photographs and we've needed like a rug or something, it's been absolutely fantastic for that. So there's the version in the pink.
There we are. That's the blush. This is the grey. Very fashionable colour. 10% of the stock of the grey's gone already. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? You're going to get people stop you in the street asking you about this if you are going to be wearing it.
And actually, I think that Mary Beth has videos online for these. So I'm sure the lovely Joe in the office can sort it out that we can put those links onto the Facebook for you. The Facebook, I sound like my dad, where he couldn't find the Google. Put those links onto Facebook so you can see her videos and show you exactly how to do them.
Imagine this, though, a bit wider maybe, as a throw to go over your legs during the winter months. It would be so warm
sort
and
of
so
this
cosy,
wide, you
so
mean?
tactile. Maybe a bit wider.
Well, you can basically put as many stitches on as your arms will take. Obviously, you'd get more stitches than me.
Yeah, because my arms are longer.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Is that what determines how big you can go?
Well, yeah, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about determines really.
So you don't need any needles, you knit with your arms, and full tutorials are on the internet as well. But if you
I'll
want
make sure that they're put onto Facebook for you because I know that Mary Beth has got some tutorials on how she does different stitches, and also how to join the wool, because obviously it isn't spun like a normal wool. And I mean, if you are a needle felter, this is a fantastic amount of wool for you. But it can pull apart if you're a bit rough with it and if you're knitting too tightly, but she's got tutorials on how to get that all back together for you as well.
How much fun to do it as well. £32.99, it'll be, well, you'll run whatever you want to make up in next to no time. 10% of the blush has now gone, 10% of the grey has gone. If you want the natural, that's the most of an all-rounder, obviously, the white one there, that's natural. £32.99, saves you £17, and it's 313894 if you'd like to take advantage of that happy hour. Right then. OK, let us move on to embroidoodle.
Oh, no,
the
we're going bear
Sorry,
panel next, and then we're going to do some demos.
So this is make your own bear, yeah?
It is. It's a make your own bear, but it's to be embroidered first. Now, I stupidly didn't bring the samples, which was a massive mistake. But they are really cute. It makes a bear who's about kind of so tall. Oh.
Ignore the fact it says limited stock. Bear with, I'm just being told to see what we did there.
Bear with. Nice. Nice. So it's got all of those elements on there that you need to construct your bear. It does come with some instructions of how to sew it together as well.
Right.
And it's got all of your seam allowances on there. So if you are going to then, you can either machine sew it or you can hand sew all of this. So you can use embroidery threads to embellish it and then stitch it together. Or you can sew it on the machine and then stitch it together.
Do you reckon that you embroider before you cut it out or cut it out first?
Yes, embroider first, then cut out.
Okay, and
it's
then
just,
stuff?
especially if you're using a hoop, it's a lot easier to do it as a whole piece.
And stuff with toy stuffing?
Yep.
Okay. So make your own bear and embroider your own bear. £9.99. 507 590 your item number. Now we've got embroidoodles. Now we've got some new ones as well. We've had these on air before. They've been very, very popular. The ones on the bottom are the new ones that we've got.
So we have historically bought them in lots and lots of different colours. That's a lovely bit of gaffer tape.
It's all about the presentation, isn't it?
Yeah, now the ones on the bottom are new ones, and people have asked for more intricate designs, so we have got those as well. So you've just seen cats and Christmas. We've got llamas and the bees there
and
as
you can pick
well.
any two. Pick and mix any two on the website, which is hochanda.com. Now, on the website, the new ones aren't there. So
I know we've had some gremlins today,
Call our operator if you want any of the 4 new ones. So that's 01733 60 2000. We'll get you through to our call centre, and they'll be able to process your order for the new ones. So the new ones are your bumblebee, llama,
Christmas, and the cat.
And the cat. Okay, so if you want those, call us for those. Otherwise, on the website, you'll see images of these, the ones we've had on before. They've been very, very popular, haven't they?
They have. And what we're going to show you today is how you can embroider them with a machine and how you can hand embroider them.
Okay.
Because we've got all of our Stittionaries on the show as well, which give you loads and loads of different stitches to use.
Pick any two, choose which ones you'd like. We've got the dog, we've got the flower. I'm not sure how we're describing these,
This
but...
is Daisy, dog, sewing, treetops.
Treetops,
yes.
Okay.
This is hilarious, this one, because if I come this way a little bit,
It's got a little sloth on
chameleons
it.
in there. There's a sloth hanging off the tree.
Oh, cool.
And a couple of
And the
toucans
as well. Love it. So you can hand embroider it or you can machine embroider it, whichever you wish. Choose any two, and you'll only be charged £11.99, and that's the delivered price for Freedom Club members. 409431 is your item number. Now, we've got 10% as well off of all of our Stittionaries at the moment. They're all on Freedom discount prices. So if you have a little look on the website, you'll see all the Stittionaries there. And this is a tutorial that maybe you've seen Hayley do before. This is teaching you all the different stitches that are out there. So if you've never stitched before, or you just feel as if you're missing out, you're not getting the experience that you'd like, blanket stitch, running stitch, woven work, you've got feather stitch, satin stitch, knots, running and back stitches and chain stitches. They all come as kits basically, and you can of course make them into little books, and there's great reviews from people who've already bought them in the past. They're a great idea, and it's something that you can of course maybe add to if you've already gone for a couple of them in the past and you fancy adding another stitch onto your collection. They're only £13.49 if you're in the Freedom Club, a £1.50 discount, 10% off, and of course no P&P for Freedom Club members. Stittionary's gone down very well, hasn't it?
It has. It just, I think, illustrates the amount that people do actually want to learn. Both the... Because did we do the machine one together the other day?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
So we'd started with the hand stitching ones, and then we discovered that people really wanted to learn different stitching techniques, and then we brought out the machine stitching one, and again we started right back at basics with straight stitch and zigzag stitch, and it just is amazing how much you can do with it. So
the lovely thing is you can just pick it up and put it down as well.
Yes, it is.
As and when you get 10 or 15 minutes, and it all becomes, starts life as a panel, but then of course you make it into a little book.
Yes, they all work the same way. They start life as a completely flat panel, and then once you're finished, you cut it and fold it in a certain way, and it makes a little book. So you've got the chain stitch one there.
Yeah, that's the chain stitch.
You're going to have to do these because they're all miles away.
That's right. This one is...
I'm going
the running stitch. This is the running stitch.
Sneaking.
We'll change the details for you as we go along, okay? So if you fancy learning the running stitch, then this is the one that you need to go for. £13.49 again, remember, they're all on a special Freedom reduced price. £13.49 for running stitch. That's 892877. Then we've got our knots that you can see here as well. So this is the panel. This is how it actually comes. It doesn't come completed, obviously, but the panel, I think, is just under here. Hang on a sec. Stand up.
Who did that?
So
I was sneaking to get the other one.
These are the different knots that you've got here. There we go, look.
Oh dear. Well, it's all a bit of fun, isn't it?
It's all fun, absolutely.
It's all a bit of fun.
Is that
that's the colonial knot.
Colonial knot, okay.
And then you've got French knot on the sheep. Now there's another one of those examples in there, in that knot one, which has all the bullion work on as well. Let me just see if I can have a little look-see here. This one.
Okay.
This is the one we want, and this is a great one to show how they go together as well. So this one takes you through French knot, and we encourage you to experiment with different kind of thread thicknesses, because a lot of your stranded, well, the thread that we give you in the kit, that is a stranded cotton, and that's your standard embroidery floss, which is a 6-strand cotton. So what we've done with this one is use all sorts of different weights of the cotton, and also use different turns. So if you can put kind of 4 turns on, 3 turns on, 2 turns on, just to see what the difference is. And then this one is the colonial knot, and you can see it's a much more consistent size.
It's lovely for 3D
and that
work,
uses, on this one, I've added different colours into this. So I've gone with a dark orange there, and then you can see it comes out to a slightly lighter one, and then right out to the yellow. And it's a really nice one to do. Maybe if you're thinking to do something like that, where you've got a relief piece, where you're not actually using the knot to create the letters, you're using it to create the space around it.
So that one is the knot tutorial. Oh, that's a tutorial. Makes it sound very dull. It's a fantastic dictionary. It's something that's fun to do.
Yeah,
and great
but
as a
it is.
reference
It's
to look back.
effectively it's a sewing lesson.
Yeah.
But if you went to a class to learn all of this, it would cost you way more, and it would take you a lot longer.
And also
this you could do it in your own time.
Yeah, you can pick it up and put it down.
This one's the bullion stitch, and that's done in a number of different formats. We've done it as a straight one there, curved one which creates those flowers, and then same principle would be used on the back to complete the roses, and then we're using some of the basic spider's web stitch there to create those.
Fab. They're great, aren't they? A great idea, and they become books,
satin
basically.
stitch, there's feather I've got feather stitch over here because I grabbed it.
There's a satin stitch there.
That's a great one, actually, the satin stitch. It's really good.
Shall I open that one up? Let's have a look at the satin stitch.
Yes, that one.
With the
Did
feather.
that one. This is one that Claire Dean did, and it's amazing. So this one does satin stitch. The very first, can you turn that over for me, Dave? Thank you. The very, very first one there, that's again getting you to experiment with those flosses, split them off into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the first are done top to bottom, then the second 6 are done horizontally using that same method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it allows you to play with those and use them as a reference guide once you're done as to how it works for you.
Do you get full instructions with it as well?
You get instructions in there as well. You get 6 threads in each of them, apart from the blanket stitch, because that's slightly different. We'll come to that in a second. And as you go through them, you will kind of learn new things. And we get a fantastic response on Stittionary, because people who are beginners, fantastic, you can learn from scratch. But we also find that experienced stitchers are coming to us and saying, there are things that I have never done before, and I've sewn for 20, 30 years, and there's stitches that I'd never
maybe someone in your family taught you to stitch many moons ago, but you've only picked up 1 or 2 stitches. Here's a chance to really kind of explore and create lots of other fantastic things. Satin stitch, knots, there we are, intermediate running and back stitches as well. Chain stitch, and they're a great thing to kind of keep hold of and pass down from generation to generation as well.
Yeah, they are effectively modern day sewing samplers. That's what they are. It's expanding your knowledge of stitches. So this one is the feather stitch, and that's using a feather stitch, stepping it out in more and less times, and playing with the spacing of it. All those lines are printed on there for you, so you can play with that. Then using it in a circle or an oval, a repeat pattern, then it tells you in the instructions how many sections you need to break it down into to get that to work. Because obviously, with the fact that the stitch goes in 3 or 4 steps, that will need to be taken into account if you ever break a circle or a frame up to do that.
So how many are there in the range?
There's 6 is there 2, 4, 6? There's 8. I stand corrected. There's 8 so far. And there's more on the way. Okay. I'm working on new ones.
Or maybe you are trying off with 1 stitch and you're thinking each time you see Hayley you're going to invest in another one. Which one do we want to go to next?
Blanket stitch. Which is I nearly got away with it because I crawled underneath, didn't I? And nicked them all. So they were over here. But I did not get away with it because there was a mean director who was like, back in vision! I'm like, oh.
Tumbled, rumbled.
So it takes you through the basic blanket stitch, and more importantly, it takes you through how to start off a blanket stitch, because the blanket stitch is a fantastic one once you're going, but I think a lot of people struggle on how do I start it. So we've actually gone right from step 1 on that. So how to use it just decoratively, how to use it for applique, and we do encourage you, if you've got bits of fabric, to cut some bits of fabric out and actually blanket stitch those on.
Well, now that the nights are drawing in, maybe you're thinking this is the ideal thing that I want to kind of learn this winter. I want to learn to do my stitching.
This is rosette of thorns that we've used, and how to get it working in a spiral. And then something people don't often consider is blanket stitch for a filling stitch. Right. Because that gives you a lovely edge to it, a lovely finished edge to it. And then this is a great one, because on the back it's used blanket stitch more decoratively, so using it on the edge on the inside to create flowers, the edge on the outside to create flowers, and then using spirals to create leaves. And then this one, which is exactly the same stitch, it's a blanket stitch, but it's using it in a circle to add those shisha mirrors.
It's great, isn't it? And we've got freedom price on all of the Stittionaries at the moment, OK? £13.49. We've got the intermediate running stitch, I think, as well.
Have I?
Have you got that one?
Yes, you've already done that one. It says advanced on there because that was the very first one printed, but then we found more stitches, so we had to make this one intermediate And it's good though. Have a little nosy.
Have a little look at this one. So this is the intermediate, yeah?
It's this, yeah, this one.
Okay.
There you go. So this one is a double whip stitch, a Pekingese stitch, a stem stitch, and then doing stem stitch into roses as well. And then on the back, you've got the Eskimo lacing, which is this one here. And then different techniques for weaving threads in and out of running stitch as well.
Have you thought there were so many stitches?
Oh, there's loads. We've still got loads to go. Hang on, that's blanket. I've messed everything up, Dave. Woven. Oh, this is my favourite one.
Is it?
The knot was my favourite one for a bit, and the chain. But now this one's my favourite one.
How long have you been stitching for then?
Too long, Dave. Too long, mate. So.
Who taught you?
My nan and my Auntie Sue and my Auntie Kathy. Okay. I was quite lucky. I had quite a lot of ones who could stitch quite well in our family. Right. So, this one, I just love it. It's an oval stitch, and you can get real kind of big impact ones with that. Various different versions of weaving stitches. I'm going to shuffle it along. Oh, that was smooth, wasn't it, Dave?
Seamless.
And then after you've had a little practice, then those guys come along. And again, we are playing with these, with the stitch width and how tight we're stitching them, and just having real fun. Because you can see on some of these wings, I haven't done just a straight up and down crisscross. These guys are on an angle. So you can have some real fun with this. And this one here, this little chap, uses a picot stitch.
Oh, wow.
And it adds such a lot of texture. Now, these are woven stitches, and you can create fabulous flowers. You can create things like feathered wings and all sorts of fun. And
cute.
It's a Portuguese stitch on the back, but I haven't stitched it yet, so I'll just gloss over that.
So that's your favourite at the moment, yeah?
It is, yes. It's my favourite at the minute.
Okay.
And I think what we'll do is we'll get one of the embroidered doodles on the go, and we will use some of those stitches onto there.
Okay, well, just to let you know that we're really busy for the stitcheries as well as the embroidery doodles. If you want to order on the website, remember, 4 of the embroidery doodles aren't available on the website. They're on the phones only. So 01733 60 2000 if you'd like the embroidery doodles. If you want to go for anything else, you can go to the website hochanda.com, and that's pick 2 any of the embroidery doodles. Embroidery doodles.
Oh, I love making words up.
And if you want to go for the stationaries, they are embroidery doodles.
Thank you.
If you want to go for the stationaries, they're on a discount price with Freedom members, down to that was 13. Was it 13.49? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So yeah, we'll show you the stationaries. Stationaries, £13.49 down from £14.99, but you get any choice of 8 of them. Okay.
Yes, there are 8 in the set so far. Now, I know that this is going to come up because we have a customer called Patricia Wilson, and she is amazing.
Well, we've got an image. She sent an image in, actually, of her knots.
There, she's working on the knots one at the minute. I know there are pictures on our Facebook of her running stitch and her chain stitch one as well, somewhere on our Facebook, which, if you know, we are welcome to go and have a look at. And she does an amazing job, because what you'll find is she actually colours some of them in first. See the sheep? Yeah. She's used inks, or I'm not sure what she's used to colour the background first before she stitches onto it.
That's great.
So she has real fun with these.
I mean, it's a real collectible as well. Once you've done it, you've achieved an awful lot, and then it's just there as a reference for yourself and the rest of the family or friends.
Well, we'll show you how they go together in just a second, but just to, because the next demo I'm going to do is actually on the embroidery doodles, and we're going to use the machine initially, and then we're going to do some hand stitching. Okay. So what we did was, because the hand sewing ones were so popular, we made a machine one. And this is the zigzag one. It kind of gets you to build a library of what your machine's capable of. And then you can use those zigzags just really basically to create a Christmas tree. And then it's teaching you about satin stitch and how to get the best out of your corners. Look at those beautiful corners, look.
And we did this the other day, you and I, didn't we? We did. It was very, very popular. That's in stock as well.
This is the bit that I'm going to show you, which is about how to use the zigzag stitch to taper your satin stitch. Yep. And this machine does it particularly well. This is the Husqvarna 100Q that we've got, Husqvarna Viking, sorry, 100Q. And also, before we get cracking, I will explain about tension as well, because in one of these that I've sewn on here, I've actually used that wrong tension to my advantage to create an effect. So if I pop that to one side.
But we're going to start with the embroidery doodles.
Yeah, well, people ask us for more intricate ones. I probably picked the wrong intricate one to start, because this is really tiny. But what I've been doing is using just that satin stitch to create the cactuses.
Okay, and this one's the llama choice.
This is the llama choice, and then I've got another little cactus up here that I've just started on. And I haven't actually changed my top thread for that. What it is I've got a light green on the bottom and I've got a darker green on the top. And by changing that tension, which I'll show you on this one, because it's a bit easier to see on something that's a bit bigger, how I've been able to do that.
Which do you prefer to do, machine embroidery or hand
I'll do a
embroidery?
bit. I think mix it up. I honestly think mix it up, because I think it's definitely worth doing. So what I've got here is normal tension. Now on your machine normally there'll be a between the 3 and 5 is on average where your kind of sweet spot will be. And I think this is I know we did this the other day, but a lot of people asked to see it again, so I'm going to very, very quickly do it. So I've got it on a satin stitch. And it just means basically a tight zigzag. That's what a satin stitch is.
Now, I know a lot of you went for this machine last time we had it on. It is in stock at the moment on Flexi, and I know someone has actually seen this machine for £385. I think the cheapest we could find it for...
269, I think.
Yeah,
or
269. I think 249 was the cheapest, but 229.99 is an exceptional price. It's the best price we can find, and it's on 2 Flexis as well, if you fancy going for it. And it's computerised, isn't it?
Sorry. Oh, that'll be it. Apparently there's a microphone problem.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, so I've stitched a little bit, and I'll stitch it all, and then I'll turn it over and show you what's happened. So I've stitched a bit on what would be normal tension, which is between 3 and 5. I've knocked it so the tension is much, much lower, so I've taken it down to a 0, and then I'm going to stitch another little bit. And I want to stitch enough so that you can see where I've been. I'm just going to speed that up a little bit. Now I'm going to put the tension all the way, right the way up, so the top thread is at its tightest, and that on this machine is a number 9.
Okay.
And then I'll just stitch another little bit, and I'll take it off, and then you can see what has happened. Needle up, threads out. Okay, so the first section I stitched was this piece here, which looks fine on the top. You should only be able to see your top stitch on the top, and then on the bottom I can only see my... What a mess, look, there we go. I can only see my bottom stitch, my bottom stitch colour, which was the lighter green.
Okay.
So good on the top, good on the bottom. This next section here looks fine on the top, but when I turn it over, you can see it's pulling all of my top thread through. And that's because the tension on the top was too loose, it was too low, and it was pulling extra threads through to the back. And then the next section looks fine on the back, but then when you turn it onto the front, you can see it's actually light green instead of that middle green that it should be, and that's because the tension on the top is way too tight and it's pulling all of that extra thread up from the back.
Right.
So what you want is you want to test on your machine first to get it in that middle ground. But I've used that feature where it pulls that extra thread up through to create this effect on the cactuses. So you can see it on these little bits here.
So you've used it to your advantage, basically. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily need to be a problem. I mean, this machine does even itself out very well and keep it nice and flat when that tension is off. Sometimes when that tension's off, you'll find it'll just pucker it all up for you.
So I didn't realise you could actually do embroidery on this machine, or on a machine of this
all
sort of
I'm
price.
using is a satin stitch. That's
Right.
all I'm using, and that's what I've used there as well on that cactus. I've gone up the centre first, using the darker green thread, and then I've adjusted my tension to pull all of that back thread up through to put those bits up either side. So you can, in theory, embroider on one of these machines. Now I'm going to do another one of the little cactuses from the centre, because I think they're the easy ones to do. So we'll show you a little bit on here.
Whenever I think of embroidery machines, I always think like thousands of pounds very
Yeah,
often.
well, I have one of those as well, but they generally need either plugging into a computer and programming, and I'm just really teaching you how to freestyle do it without a free motion foot. So I'm lining up the edge of that cactus with my machine, and I'm just going to hand turn it for now, and just knock that stitch size down a little bit, and make sure that when I'm stitching, it's hitting those grey lines either side. See, that's a little bit short, so I'm going to just increase that stitch width a little bit. Perfect. And then I can stitch all the way up to make that central bit of a cactus.
So you're filling that in completely?
Yeah, I'm just going over the top, filling it in completely, and then when I get up to the top, I'm just going to lift the foot just so I can see underneath. If I can just push that up out the way a little bit. So you can see underneath just where the end of that cactus is and where I'm working to, because I know I'm going to need to start decreasing that stitch shortly. And then I'm going to take the stitch down a little bit. And do it again. Another few stitches, down a little bit more. Another few stitches, and that will give me that rounded end on the top of my cactus.
Great.
I'll just quickly.
And you adjusted it very quickly and easily just by pushing the button.
You do. This is just a button push one, but you can see it just tapers in slightly to the top of the cactus, and that's all we're after. And then I can go back. If I wanted it thicker, like the blue one that's next to me, all I did was turned it round and went back the other way. So I've pulled the thread a little bit on this one, but I should be all right. So normally, I'm to do what you would normally do. So normally, if I was turning a corner on a machine, I'd put my needle down, I'd pivot it round, and I'd come back the other way.
If you were doing this by hand, would you have an embroidery hoop? Or would you do it free?
I'm happy to work either way. Now, if you're going to do this on this type of machine with the zigzag, I would actually advise leaving the needle down, pivoting it round, but then it sounds terrifying, because this is where I would end up. This is where I would end up normally. So I've sewn all that bit of the trunk, and I would end up here. I would recommend putting the needle in, pivoting it round so you're going to come the other way. But now if you look, my needle is on the wrong side of that cactus. So if I continue to sew, I would end up with one beside it rather than on top of it. So I know this is terrifying for people, but needle up, foot up, and then just manually pop it back into position. Now if you're only moving small amounts like that, you'll not have a problem. It's when you're kind of moving it, and like I did before, pull the huge bit out and put it back in again, that you would have a problem. So I'm going to pop that back down, do a few stitches in my that's size 3, increase it, a few more stitches in that, increase it so it's back to where it was.
What's the maximum width you can do a stitch?
On here,
Yeah.
zigzag is 7mm. That's the same for most machines.
Right.
Because it's a pretty kind of uniform size. It's generally the gap between the hole in the foot there. So that's kind of pretty standard, is 7mm. There you go. And then see, I've gone over that twice now, so it's much more kind of dense stitching, and looks fantastic. And then you can just add in the other side and play about. If you had something like the llama there, you may want to do that as a free motion, or you can, oh hang on, let's get it out of the light. The light is great for me if I'm actually sewing, but not very helpful for cameras.
The cameras don't like it.
You could do that as lots of little straight zigzag stitches and build it up.
Yeah.
Now, I've got some grey, so we can do some. Or should we do some hand stitching? Do you fancy a bit of hand stitching, Dave?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, let's remind you of the happy hour deal that we've got for you as well, all deals, because we've got the chunky yarn. Now, this is really special stuff for hand knitting or arm knitting. We're going to have one of the balls passed into us. Thank you, Ben. This is huge. This is really, really funky and a great time to buy it today because we've got it with a massive discount. £17 off. This is a happy hour deal only until 4 o'clock, or if the stock sells out before then, that will be it. Done, dusted, finished. £32.99 saves you £17. If you go for a couple of balls, of course, you'll be saving £34. If you go for 3, you'll be saving £51. So,
sorry.
£32.99 is your price. Choose from grey, blush, or natural. Choice is yours, and you'll be as snug as a bug in a rug. If you're making scarves or making blankets to go over your legs or something like that, this is pretty special stuff. Look at this. This is amazing. It's so cuddly. I've never had anything like it on me. It's really, really cool. And
it
that's
is
the ball.
100% wool.
Merino
as well.
wool.
Yeah, it is.
Lovely quality. You can make, what would you make out of it? You make a...
I would make a throw with it.
A throw?
Yeah, I would make a throw with it because I think it's dead snugly. And
Great over the back of the sofa, and then when it gets really cold, just put it over your legs. Love it.
Right. Okay, we are going to do some hand stitching, and we're going to do this picot stitch because people have been asking me about that again. So we're going to do one of those. If I can find my needles. There they are.
There they are. Got them. Whew. Now, the embroidered noodles are going back on the screen. Do remember, if you want to order, it's a pick and mix of any two, only $11.99, and you can do it. Best way to do it is actually on the phones with the operator because, oh, they're still not on the website yet. Okay.
Oh,
01733 602,000 will get you through to the operator. They'll talk you through which ones are available. There's 8 to choose from, I think it was. And you can choose any 2 for just £11.99.
Right, I've been told off. I have moved it. We are all good now.
Move what?
My microphone was getting caught in my hair, and well, that's what the risk you take, isn't it?
They've got hair like you, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to thread up a needle here, and there was a big pin in one of these samples. Hang on. Ah, that's the one I want. This almost looks like as big as a hat pin, this one. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's great. So for the picot stitch, I'm actually going to put the pin in at the top. I'm going to do just one of these petals on one of these flowers here. So I'm going to put the pin in at the top of the petal, but I'm going to take it way past at the bottom so it's not in my way while I'm stitching. So I've got a piece of thread here. I'm just going to put a quick knot in the bottom so it doesn't pop through. And then we're going to put what would be the warp threads in for our little bit of weaving.
Right.
So we're going to come either side of here, and we're going to put, oh, have I got this in a big, I have got it in a big ginormous knot. There we go. One there. We're going to go around the back of the pin, and in the other side. And then we're going to do a second one because we want quite a nice tight little weave on this. So we're going to come in a little bit.
What stitch is this again?
This is a picot stitch.
Picot stitch.
Around the top, and then back down, and then one up in the centre, and that's the one we're going to start to weave with.
Right.
And back up in the centre. Oops, daisy. There we go. And we're going to take it around the pin, so underneath the pin, and then I'm going to just turn this around a little bit so we can start weaving. So we're going to start by going under, over, under, over, and take it right up to the top. Now when you take it through, I think I've missed a bit on there, there you go. You want to make sure you go through each of the, not split the threads as you go. And
oh wow,
I'm just going to pull that through. First one you need to do nice and tight, because the tighter you do it, the less of a loop you'll get when you get to the end and you take the pin out. So now we're going to go, we went under that first one. So, sorry, we went, yes, we went under the first one, so we're going to go over it, and then under, and then over, and then under. The more layers you put in, the easier it starts to become, because it gets a little bit more spaced out.
Right.
You're dead quiet, Dave. I'm a bit worried.
I'm intrigued. I'm just fascinated.
Under,
I've
over,
never seen this before.
Under, over.
I've never seen this picot before.
And then just use the needle to just kind of slide everything up and keep it nice and tight as you go. And you could do this in a different colour. We've got on the woven one, we've got examples with it used in 2 different colours.
That'd be cool.
So,
but it's like a little mini loom in many respects.
it is.
Isn't it?
It's
really?
like a tiny loom. But what it does is it allows you to, because the only stitches that we've actually put through the fabric are these ones down here.
Yeah.
All of this stuff at the top is just being held by that pin. So if I just do a couple more of these, enough so we can quickly get it out again.
So this is the actual...
this is the stitchionary, the woven
yeah, this is the one that had the fins on the fish, wasn't it?
It had feathers on a bird, but
feathers on a
close
bird,
enough.
Close.
I'll take it, Dave, I'll take it.
Fins on a fish, feathers on a bird.
Well, next time I'll do a fish.
Okay.
And I'll call it Dave.
I've been called worse.
And top tip that I will give you is sometimes it's, because the front of the needle is quite pointy, it's sometimes actually easier to do it with the back of the needle because it doesn't split your threads.
Ah, right, okay. So use the eye to...
Yeah, use the eye. It's going to be a little bit easier, especially when you're getting to quite tight bits. I'm going to do 2 more rows through this, and then we'll do the big reveal. Okay. Do you want to do the big reveal?
I'll let you do that, because I'm not quite sure what you're going to do.
We can take the pin out.
Take the pin out, okay. Right.
I'm sure you can do that.
I can do that.
Okay, yeah, that's in my wheelhouse.
Even though I thought the bird had fins or something.
Yeah, it's okay. Right, one more I think, and that'll do us, because we just need this is a little sample one, don't we? So, because it's getting quite tight now, you see, so it's a little bit more difficult to get them in. So there you go. And then when you take it back through to the other side, because you started in the middle, we're going to take it back into the middle. So I'm going to come through here, and then I'm going to pop that down through there, and then I would tie it off. So now, can you reach over with your giant long arms and take that out?
Can't see.
Just here. To me. There you go.
Okay, got it.
There you go. And now that stays completely...
That is really cool. I've never seen anything like that before.
It's good, isn't it?
It's really good.
It's good, isn't it?
Brilliant.
So that's the Picot stitch. Great one. That's within the woven stittionary. And fantastic for using on these embroidoodles, because there's loads of little flowers and things on all of them which you can use for that. And there's wings on the bees, and that would be great for that. And what you can do is you can use multiple pins if you want. So rather than saying as a little point, it goes more into a curve. That's just extra pins that you need down to do that.
I mean, I don't know if you're the same as me, but I never knew there were so many different stitches, so many different techniques.
We're not even halfway there yet, Dave. There's loads of stitching
to embroidery. Okay. Now have a little look then at our stittionaries. They're all laid out in front of us here at the moment. If you have a little look on the website, you'll see them there as well. All of them have got 10% freedom discount. Okay. So if you would like to take advantage of that extra £1.50 discount, then please do. What stitch is it that you want to learn? What is it that maybe has passed you by, or are you starting literally at square one? Or maybe you want to get it for your daughter or for someone in the family or your son or whoever, because I mean everyone loves to sew and stitch. It's not just a lady thing or girl thing at all. So here they all are. There's the stittionaries, the blanket stitch, we've got the feather stitch, satin stitch, knot stitch, running stitch as well, whichever you want to learn. Maybe you buy one each time you see Hayley. Have a little look on the website and you'll see them all there, hochanda.com. Okay, and they're £13.49 at the moment with freedom discount. Take advantage of that if you'd like to. Also, we've got our embroidered bear panel too. That's also in the show today as well. There we go. And the embroidoodles too, which you can use a machine with, or indeed you can of course do it by hand as well. Now we have also got a happy hour, which is actually what I'm wearing. Arm knitting is massively popular, hugely popular. No tools required apart from these. And we've got 3 colour choices. So here is your merino wool. Sorry, Murano's glass. Merino wool. That's because Ben said it to me earlier on. There's the grey. There's the blush. And there is the natural, okay? So £32.99. You've got a £17 discount on this from $49.99 only until the clock gets to 0 or the stock gets to 0. We've got literally 18 minutes and 30 odd seconds to go. The price will then go back up to $49.99, but at the moment you're saving a good whack of money. £17 off down to £32.99. And what I'm wearing has been knitted with it. Now imagine that as a throw on a sofa, on a bed, or over you. When the nights are drawing in, it gets really cold or whatever, putting something like this over you, it's just so wonderfully cuddly. It really is. And it's so different and really quite cool, I think. Yeah. £32.99 the price, 313894. And there are loads and loads of tutorials online if you want to see exactly how to do your hand knitting, or you can watch them exactly how to do it. And in 5 minutes, you've done about that length, so it doesn't take very long at all. £32.99 saves you £17 off the price. Now, we've also got our embroidoodles as well, and the bear panel. Don't forget the bear panel. Don't want to trip over Hayley's step just here. There's the bear panel. Now you can embroider that panel, embroider it before you actually kind of cut it out, and then of course you stuff it with your toy stuffing. That is only £9.99, but it's got all the components, all the elements you need to make the bear from start to finish. That's 507590. And then the embroidoodles that we've got for you, these 4 down here, they are brand new, okay? And if you want them, please call the operator for these, 01733602000, because there are a few issues on the website with these. The photographs aren't there for them at the moment, but they are available. So you've got your cat, you've got your Christmas, I think we're calling this one, which has got the reindeer and it's got the snowman and so on. Then we've got the llama, which is the one that we were using a few minutes ago with the cactus and everything on it. And then finally, we've then got the bee, is that one there, okay? So there's your 4 new ones. The others that are available, and they've been on air before, we've got the daisy just here. Next to that, we've then got the dog. We've then got the sewing, which is full of bobbins and scissors. And then we've also got the last one, which is the treetops, and that's got the sloth on it and the toucan and that sort of thing, and lizards as well. Really cool. So any 2 for $11.99, 409431, so they're only £6 each approximately, and you'll have hours of fun doing them, and of course they're something that you'd be proud to put in a photograph, in a frame and put on the wall. 409431 then for the embroidoodles. Now also our freedom Freedom membership is there at £6.97. That gets you a month's membership for Freedom. Item number is 88888. That's what you have to put in if you'd like it, and that takes care of all of your postage. You will not be paying a penny P&P. And also, of course, when there is a Freedom price, like there is on our embroidery doodles, on our stationery, sorry, that gives you a £1.50 discount, 10% off normally. You can sometimes get more discount than 10%, but on average it's 10% off for Freedom Club members. Plus you get your monthly newsletter and your badge as well. Right then.
Dave.
Hello.
So, it's really weird. So, I'm doing a slightly different stitch here. This is a great alternative to a satin stitch. This is a cretonne stitch, and it's fantastic for leaves and things as well.
Okay.
It's really, really simple. So, I'm going across this way. Now, you see, on these, we printed a kind of, what do I mean? Like the middles of the leaves. What do I mean?
Veins?
Maybe. What's the middle of a leaf called? Anybody?
Vein?
Okay. Well, we'll call it a spine for now.
All right.
We'll find out, I'm sure, off the internet what the right answer is. So, I have printed the spines of the leaves in there. So, what you need to do for the cretonne stitch is go either side. So we start, and you need to put it underneath the previous one. So we're coming from this side across to the edge there. Now I've got 3-stranded thread here, just because I think it gives you a nicer finish. You can, the bottom one that I'll show you in a second, that was done with 6. Where's my thread gone? There it is. Now before I go right the way, I'm going to just loop this up so you can see actually, before I go right the way to the edge there, what I'm going to do is bring it back up on the other side of that spine, just there, but loop it underneath that previous stitch. So when I pull it all tight, it naturally creates that kind of vein or spine up the centre.
Right. Gotcha.
So I'm going to come in there, and then I'm going to come back out just there, making sure that I'm underneath that stitch. So when I pull it through, it's underneath, and continue working like that. So take it across to there. I'm going to go in. Yeah, and this cretonne stitch is in the feather stitch stittionary.
Okay.
I'm just going to move that out of the way. Just trying to do as many stitches from as many different ones that we maybe haven't shown you before.
Maybe do one project an evening. It won't be long before
now,
you...
the projects in these, each of those little panels will take you probably about 3 to 4 hours on each of them.
Yeah.
So that's quite a, there's quite a lot to get around there.
There's
so
a lot to learn, though, isn't there?
Well, if you think about it as if you went to a night class to learn it, then you're probably looking at, 5 or 6 night classes there. And that would be a lot more than £13.
Absolutely. And you can do it in the comfort of your own home, or when you have a coffee break at work or something like that, you can take it with you. So rather than committing to something, I mean, doing
or
this
like
sort of job,
Janice, you can just do a show and then take the one that isn't quite finished home.
Yeah, that's what she did. She was doing it in our presenters lounge a little while ago. Yeah. But I can't commit to like night classes same day each week.
No, because you work awkward days.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny hours and things, and not everybody. Now we know that the nurses are a big fan of Stitchery because again, you can pick it up, you can put it down, especially with hand stitching, and use all of the techniques that you kind of learn in this. You can use them within the embroidery doodles, and that's what the embroidery doodles are for. And you can see that starting to form that little
it's effective, isn't it?
Vein up the centre, and that's why it's such a great stitch for leaves, this one.
Excellent.
We've got about 5-10 minutes. Can I do a different stitch?
About 10 minutes.
I've got 9 minutes. I can do a different stitch.
Okay.
Let's do it. Do as many as we can.
So that's the cretonne stitch.
Yes, it is. Whoops, let's get rid of that. Which...
They're all saying this really suits me. Thank you. I quite like it. I'm feeling a bit cold, actually, because the aircon's on, so it's quite nice.
Right.
Yes, the same colour as my shirt.
Which bit should we do on here? Do you know what I'm going to do?
It looks a little bit like a court wig, doesn't it? Like a lodge.
Oh, they're long either side bits. Okay. Okay, let's get a little bit more of this. Oh dear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the thread, and then we're going to do a reverse chain actually, we could do that one. We could use the oval stitch on those, and they'd really kind of pop. So let's do an oval stitch. I've got this in the right blooming knot, Dave. Oh, that's why. I've turned it over twice. Right. I should have nicked the bit off my other one that I've just. There we go.
Imagine how you're going to feel when you've mastered all these stitches.
Oh, there's so much you can do with them, and that's why the embroidery needles are lovely, because it gives you just a chance. You've got an open book, and it gives you just a chance to play. So, for this stitch, now all of the flowers that we've done within the woven one have got the same number of petals, but the ones on here have got 5. So, what we're going to do is put a little stitch at the bottom, and I should have split this into a finer stitch, and then we'll put a little stitch at the bottom. Whoops, a daisy. I've pulled my knot back out. Bear with.
But sometimes you think of embroidery as being quite traditional.
You know, I've got some new hoops coming that don't have this silly bit on the top that I keep getting looped around. This nonsense here, I've got some without that, which I'm going to have to bring because it drives me crackers. Every time I get stuck on those. Every time.
But
right,
so we've got little funky images though, aren't they?
Little stitch at the top and a little stitch at the bottom. That's what we need, and we don't want these to be too tight because these are what we're going to kind of weave our thread through. So there you go. I'm just going to snip these off because these are just threads that have pulled through from the back. I'm just going to get rid of them out of our way. That's better. So I don't want loops quite as big as that, but it's just so you kind of get the idea. So I want a little one there and a little one there, and we're going to bring it back up at the bottom. And again, probably not even loops as big as this, but we'll just see how we get on. Right, let's make that one a little bit smaller, and that one a little bit smaller. Fabulous. Right, so we're going to go through the loop, and then through the one at the top. But you've got to make sure you don't go through kind of in the same direction, because otherwise you'll end up with a figure of 8. You've actually got to go round as if it was a circle.
Right.
So around this way. And then back in. I've picked a super tiny flower to work on.
You have?
I have, haven't I? I'm trying to not get my hands in the way as well. That way. And just keep working it round in a circle, and don't pull it too tight because you want to kind of get the loops going outside of each other if you can. So that's it, probably about there. And then back through again. Chris, do I get some points for staying quite still today? Because still's not usually not usually my forte. Still, is it?
No, not really.
There you go.
So
and
how many
build them
have you
up.
got? 3?
I'm going to put 3 on this, and I'm going to come back into that bottom bit and then push it back through, because I think 3 is going to be plenty on this because it's quite a small flower. Now, if I was using less strands of the floss, then I might go around a bit more, and then we can just build those little petals up. There you go.
Oh, brilliant.
And then add, 4 or 5 of those in to create ones like that.
Lovely.
So there's loads and loads you can do with stitches.
There's tons.
Loads and loads you can do with stitches. Should we have another one quickly?
Do one more.
One that I know is very, very popular with people that they haven't necessarily learned is the reverse chain stitch. So we'll chain stitch round the edge of this cactus. So we're going to go straight up and straight back down. Now with chain stitch normally you would loop that round, come back through like that, loop it round there, and then pull it through to create the chain.
Right.
And keep working that way. Now with the reverse chain stitch, I find personally this gives me better, more even tension. So again, we want to create that little loop. We're going to come up through that loop, pull it nice and tight, back down, and then we're going to come up where that next stitch is. Oops, there you go, there you go. And then we're going to actually loop it under that previous stitch, because that means that your tension is going to stay much more consistent than by going the other way, and you're not going to have those problems that you sometimes have with a chain stitch with it twisting on you. I personally find it much easier, but that is in your chain stitch. Advanced chain stitch is the next stitching area that's coming, and cut work, where you're actually stitching and then cutting the fabric away.
Right, okay. So they're coming soon, but all of these you can, of course, invest in today with our Embroidoodle. Pick any two you like. Apologies for the 4 new ones not being on the website, but they are available through the operator if you'd like to give us a call for those. 01733602000. I've been handed the balls of yarn as well. Great balls of yarn, because they are huge. Now, this is your blush. You've got your grey option as well, and you've also got your natural, which is the white one. I've been wearing the grey because I've got a grey shirt on, and it's been wonderfully warm, actually, because it was a bit chilly.
Well, it will be, because it is 100% wool. It is 100% merino wool.
Now, this is the happy hour. We've got 5 minutes left until the price of this goes up, OK? You're saving £17 off what should be $49.99. They are now $32.99 per ball. If you want to go for a couple, because you've got a big project to do, maybe on a bed, it'd look fantastic.
And I would also say, you know, check the price out on the web, because that is really good for that, especially for a kilogram of 100% merino wool.
Yeah, and it feels great. It really does. If you're having it as a throw to keep your legs warm, if you're putting it maybe decoratively on the back of a sofa, draped over a bed, it would look $1 million. It really would. But you knit with your arms. How brilliant!
It's fantastic. I've pulled my other bit off, and it's all the way over there. Have I got time to do it quickly?
In 5 minutes, you've done about that much, haven't you? It didn't take long at all.
Ben's getting it. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to try. Oh, he's got my pass as well. He can't chuck it. My pass is dangling off it and all sorts. Right, hang on.
We're literally about a minute away from the end of the show, but just to give you an idea.
Pop that on the ground.
You did that in 5 minutes?
Yes, I did. I'm just going to try and get all my stitches back on. Hang on. 1,
The clock is on. The clock is counting. You've got literally 5 minutes.
5, 6,
to get this at this
7,
price.
Done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab that to create the next, slide that over, and that creates your next loop, which goes onto your other hand.
Yeah.
So grab it over the top, slide it on.
Look at this. It takes shape in next to no time. No knitting needles needed. Use your use your arms and hands.
Now, I would not recommend going crazy fast with this, because it isn't a spun yarn or anything. You don't want to snap the thread on it.
Do you have to keep the tension quite regular?
Yeah, you've got to keep it quite loose on this.
Thanks,
you can't see what they're doing to Dave. You can't see.
Ben knows I'm cold, so he's just kind of draping everything over me. I look like candy floss now.
See, on one side, you get that normal kind of. I've left this quite loose. You can do it a lot tighter. Yeah. But I've left this quite loose because it'll kind of go a long way. And you can multiple order if you want to. If you want to take advantage of that discount, £17 off per ball. Right, if you go for a couple, you save yourself £34. It is your happy hour deal. It's going to go up in price in about 3 minutes' time. I'll see you with a brand new one-day special at 6. Thank you, Hayley. Bye, Dave.
Bye, Hayley. Yeah, well, we're shining with Pearl X and Posca. Next, that's with our lovely Leonie. Heartfelt Creations one-day special final call at 5. And I'll see you with a tribute to the late Jane Nestorenko one-day special. It's going to be a lovely show tonight, 6 o'clock.
Witchcraft are excited to bring you Stamp Magic, their incredible stamping and papercraft show. And Hochanda will be there supporting you. Set in Doncaster's The Dome, within Lakeside Leisure Park, Stamp Magic has brought together the UK's most dedicated craft experts in this intimate surrounding since 2004. Available from Hochanda in advance for only £4, or alternatively on the door for £5. So what are you waiting for? Log on to our website www.hochanda.com and order your tickets today.
Hi, I'm Bev, I'm from Be Crafty. We have been going for about 14 years, and 4 years ago we started designing and making our very own stamps just for you. All of our stamps are designed and made here at Be Crafty by my own fair hands, and we love using them for lots of different crafty projects. I love playing with our stamps and templates and getting as inky as I can, whether it's spraying or blending ink or stamping ink, paints, everything. We absolutely love it, and that's what we want to show you when we come to Hochanda, because we get to demo as much as we like, which is fantastic, so I can show you all the techniques that I'm learning too. So make sure you don't miss the Be Crafty shows on Hochanda.
Welcome to the newest exciting way to shop here at Hochanda. Craft Price Drop.
Price lock.
Tune in for your favourite craft brands at absolutely incredible low prices. Make sure to get in early before the quantity reaches zero and the price locks. You got to be in it to win it. Everybody pays the lowest price.
Hello and welcome. It's lovely to have your company. You are, of course, tuned into Hochanda. We had a fabulous hour earlier on, didn't we, Alison?
We certainly did.
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I love seeing you use all the products, because it makes it look so easy, but it's all about experimenting and really getting the most out of the products, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And I kind of think that's the key to most things, isn't it? If you know what the materials will do for you, then when you're trying to make decisions about what you put together, then all of that information's already there. You're not battling against the materials that you're using.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, croaking already. Bad start. No. Okay, if you've any questions, because we did have questions in last hour, and actually we had lovely customers who answered some of those questions that we couldn't answer. So we'll read those out. But if you have any questions, so maybe you want to see some of the colours, maybe, you know, you want to see what something does, email in. This is a live hour. We've only got one more hour of Alison today, so please, studio@hochanda.com. Okay, we'll get straight in because we want to see our Alison demo. So first of all, brand new colour palette for us, and it's a pick and mix. This is Pearlex. You're picking three. Look at your price, Freedom members, under a tenner, $9.89 for 3 pots of these, and these are going to last. Now, Pearlex, and we were chatting earlier on.
Yes.
Something that I've been aware of for years and years, but in your sort of art journey, these are relatively new, aren't they?
Well, they are, but you know, I've always been the kind of late one to the party, I have to say. But this is what I love, particularly about Hochanda, actually, is that there's so many crossover things, aren't there?
Yeah.
There are so many things that maybe crafters aren't aware of that occur in art, and you know, there are things that occur in craft that we artists weren't aware of, and Pearlex is definitely one of them.
Yeah, he's very, very transferable. You know, there's so many things you can do with it. I think the important thing, I mean, there are a lot of different mica products on the market. These were the first ever micas that I'm aware of, ever, when I got into the craft industry. But they haven't got any binder in them, have they?
No, they are completely inert. So, and what that means is, rather than that being a negative thing, that's a very positive thing, because then you can do so many things with them, because you haven't got to worry about what's in there with the mica. So you can mix them with any medium. In fact, I haven't found a medium yet that they don't work with, and all of those lovely answers that we got given before have just kind of broadened it
given
even
us
more.
even more ideas.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So essentially, you can mix them with varnishes, you can mix them with paints, you can mix them with all your different crafting mediums.
Yes, you can knead them into absolutely. You can knead them into polymer clay.
Amazing.
You can dust polymer clay with them. You can coat moulds with them first before you do all sorts of things with them.
Superb.
You know, you can mix them with resin. I've made some resin jewellery with them. So you know,
resin's going to look amazing.
Yeah,
with
it
these,
really does look good. Yeah.
Okay, you saw the colour swatch. I mean, there are so many colours. This is what we're saying. If you need to see some of these live mix, then give us a shout, because it is live TV, so we'll do our best for you. That is such a good purchase. Let me show you before we even show them, because have a look at some of these. Now, these are sensational. Done with the Pearlex.
Yes, yeah. And they're combinations of things. So some of them are Pearlex on their own, and some of them are Pearlex over the top of watercolour, or they're Pearlex with the Posca, which we're going to feature on the programme too. And it shows the just the variation that you can get, very fine line detail with them, that you can use them like a paint, you can mix them with watercolour.
Yeah.
So they are an addition to whatever it is you're purchased. You're not going to have to buy a whole new set of things. They just filter in with everything you've already got.
See, I love this because you've got that real power of the pearlettes with that wonderful little, it's like a really dull matte, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that the Poscas then?
No, that's the watercolour.
Is it?
Yes, yeah.
Because that is a beautiful matte.
Yeah, and it's nice to have the two, isn't it? Rather than everything being this kind of glitzy, shiny thing, you want it to look like it's got, or I want it to look like it's got layers.
Yeah.
So you've got the matte kind of versions in the background and the real shiny stuff on the top.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. Now, we have got so much coming up. Again, I'll show you these over and over and over throughout the hour. Again, if you've any questions, I might as well pop them there. Email in. So, you've got your pearlettes. Now, of course, they've no binder, which means you can add them too. So, first of all, these are the ones that we got on the show, and these are cracking because, first of all, you've got your gum Arabic, and then you've got your pearlettes varnish.
Yes.
So, you're saying in the first hour, gum Arabic, this is what's already in watercolour paint?
Yes, that's right. It's like a tree resin is where it comes from. It comes from an acacia tree.
Right.
And normally in watercolour it's in a liquid form. Obviously it's already mixed up there ready. And a lot of the time if you buy gum Arabic it's already made up into a liquid. But this is in powder form.
Sealed. So I'll leave that as it is.
I'll show you in the demo, it's fine. So this is in powder form, which means that you can alter the consistency. So if you want a very thick Pearlex paint, you can put it on with lots of gum Arabic.
Amazing.
Or you can have just a little bit. And what that will do is bind the Pearlex powder together so that it seals it, so it's not going to be able to be rubbed off the surface just by touching it.
So wherever you put it, at least it's going to stick. You've also got the varnish. So again, it'll obviously, with the varnish, it's going to be amazing as well.
Yes, and that turns it into something more like an acrylic.
Right,
so it dries waterproof, and if you watch the show back on the first show that we did on Rewind, and I will demonstrate it again in this hour, it dries very quickly, dries to a film so that you can overlay and overlay and overlay.
Fantastic, and it isn't going to move. Okay, if you want these now, these were busy in the first hour. It were really busy in the first hour. Again, tons of uses. 183204, that's your item number. Now, something that was ridiculously busy in the first hour was the black cardstock. Now, it did sell out in the first hour. Okay, we've got extended delivery. How long are we waiting? 16th of October. A little bit of a wait there. Always worth getting in there when we've got stock, but it is worth it. 300 GSM, that is heavy.
It is heavy, and I'd actually never seen the like of it until I came across these pads. It was always in the kind of 200 odd realm, or being very, very thick mount board type of thing. Whereas this, we were saying earlier, weren't we, that it's good cardstock, that you can use it for all sorts of projects, but it will take me being horrible and brutal to it with loads of water and pens.
So you can abuse it.
Yes.
I mean, they are heavyweight sheets. If you have a look at that, that is good thick cardstock.
Yeah, very much so.
And it is brilliant because, of course, you can be chopping it down. This is a real workhorse. Now, as we said, it did sell out. 350 GSM. Oh, good grief, it's busy again. 30% of the restock stock, that has already gone.
Wow.
Only £11 and 15 pence. See, I reckon that's why, because it does seem like an awfully good price. 076245, that's your item number. We've got queues on the phones. Again, we have queues all the first hour, a minute and a half queues. You can get on the website. Our website is up and running. It's absolutely fine. I think we broke it last time, didn't we? Alison.
Sorry about that.
But it's working this time. Hochanda.com. Now, amazing. We're on to Posca. I'm already a massive Posca pen. This is a nice, versatile collection, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's kind of got everything you need, really, to start you off. If you're concerned about the colours, or, you know, you're thinking, will I really need them? Particularly if you are a painter already, these are amazing. All of those times that you want a really nice fine black line or a nice fine white line, these will do the job for them because they're more like a paint than they are a pen.
Yes. And I think these two are very fluid, aren't they?
They are, yes, incredibly.
And it's so different but sharp. Even on the black cardstock, the black is black.
It is really black, and it's great for correcting mistakes. The white is good for putting highlights. As you know, I like doing a lot of animal portraits, so those kind of highlights in eyes, whiskers, all of those kind of things that you really struggle to, or I really struggle to do with a very fine brush, and to get them consistent. Posca takes care of it.
Absolutely perfect. You've also got a fine liner pen, so this is more of a pen, of course.
Yes, so more like a sketching type of pen.
Yeah, really versatile. But then, something I haven't got my mix on yet. It's like just new toys. A Posca, but this is a proper, I know it's a hard one until it obviously goes nice and juicy, but that is a proper brush nib.
That is
a white
bristles.
brush nib.
Yeah, that's bristles. That's not a solid shape. That's bristles that will act exactly like a brush.
So exciting. But with Posca ink, and the thing is with Posca ink, it goes on loads of different surfaces.
It certainly does. And like I say, I haven't found one it doesn't go on yet.
Amazing.
And you can do really amazing things with it. So you can put it onto ceramic and you can bake it in just a conventional oven, and then you can varnish it to make it scratch proof, all of those kind of things.
So
Fabulous
again,
stuff.
if you are, it could be something simple with kids like doing the pebbles.
Yeah.
Or it could be works of art. I mean, with this one, all these highlights, are they your Posca?
Yes, they certainly are.
See, and I think that's what's amazing about it. If I show the fox, because I haven't shown the fox yet, bear with. If I show the fox, again, look at that. See, the Posca. So where you see the highlights, where you see the phenomenal whiskers,
yes,
that's your
all
Posca pen.
Posca. All of that kind of fluffiness, all of that detail in the ear, all where I made her look kind of fluffy and furry, and those very sharp details. Because obviously, some of the time in painting, you want the materials to reflect your subject as well. And that kind of wily fox, that kind of very pointed, that fluffy edge, Posca does it all.
Amazing. And it sits so well on all the other products. I think that's important as well, isn't it? Because you're not ruining it by overlaying. It sits perfectly.
And I think as well, because with watercolours, you know, people coming at this from a watercolour point of view will be very scared about overlaying because they have that, oh, I mustn't put too many layers down because it's going to turn to mud, and you so don't have to worry about that with this.
Slap it on. If you do want this fantastic, that essential collection, £12.99, we're trying to reset it up. That is 877513. Now, in the Posca family, again, so think about all the things you can go on, like glass, like obviously what we're talking about, wood, maybe it's going to be your MDF, things like this. You will be able to go on that with your Posca pens, but it's not just going on it, it's looking how sharp the colours are, the lines are.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, actually, because that's one of the things I was really impressed with Posca. So often you buy a product and you kind of test it out on a scrap, and then you do it on your artwork and you go, oh, okay, it's okay. But Posca, there's no shift. It doesn't look any different on black card or white paper or glass or pebbles. It's completely consistent. And that's why I've just become this enormous fan.
Looks good. Okay, so thinking about all those products you can use these on, think about the glittery markers. That's what these are. So all of these, and I forgot in the first hour, forgetting to show you the nibs, which is very rude. I was just getting excited by the little swatches. But this one, now, they all look white, but you do have to pump them to get the paints, the ink are flowing, but that's got a really nice bullet tip. Quite fine nib on these, isn't it?
And because the nibs don't degrade, it's not like a lot of nibs where you press on them a bit too hard and they splay out, and what the pen that you started with is not the pen that you end up with. They stay together really well.
So really, again, really good quality. And these are just gorgeous. Proper shimmer. And of course, these are all on black card. I mean, the colour is amazing, even on your black card. And look at that. It is the opacity of these. We were saying that in the first hour. They're amazing.
Yeah, and just their coverage as well. I mean, that is literally me with a pen and a piece of card and scribbling down. I haven't done 2 layers. I haven't kind of built it up. There's no kind of smoke and mirrors here. That is me with a pen, scribbling down the piece of card and then getting a bit of water and blending it out at the bottom. And that's how much they cover.
How easy. I mean, easy and, quality. Sorry, I'm being proper ham-fisted, aren't I?
Oh. You're right.
Last one. There you go.
There we go.
5th hour. Sorry, Alison. By 5, I'm like...
That's all right.
Oh, talking in tongues by 5. 365699, that's your item number. You're saving £7. You've got some good saving because it's been brought in by the SAA, and they do bring us some really good prices. Okay, staying with the Posca family, but different. I love these as well. I think, I said this in first hour, I think these are my favourite. I'll show you the nib on these, because these are a proper good chunky nib.
And you know, I don't know if you knew this about the nibs as well. Certainly the wider nibs, if they get a bit clogged up, because I'm a bit of a terror for working back into wet paint or working one over the other before it's dried. You can pull the nibs out and you can wash them under the tap and you can put them back in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah, washable. It's really clever.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So you kind of think you've ruined your... I looked at my pen when it was kind of covered in 4 colours and read the instructions properly, took it out, washed it under the tap. It's all,
genius.
all again. Amazing.
That is so good.
Yeah.
That is so good. That's really good because then you really don't have to be scared, do you? Look at these. See, these, again, the colour on that black cardstock is phenomenal. That is it. And I'm going to go it that way. Sorry. I'm trying to do this so it's easy, and I'm just making it hard. I'm sure in first hour I made it easy. They really wash out as well, don't they?
Yes, they do, yeah. So for the painters out there that think, well, I'm not really into pens, I'm not really into illustration, then they blend out, so you can get the finest detail with them, take a wet brush to them, blend them out, and they've got that softness that looks like paint.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely beautiful. Love these. Definitely my favourite. And we were talking about your different surfaces. I mean, these are actually, you've got layers and layers of all your different ones, but these are on the little rock as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And they just show up so beautifully. I mean, again, that's not me colouring it in several times over. That is because I have no patience with things whatsoever. So that's me with a pen and drawing some circles and jobs are good.
Bob's. That is Bob's your uncle, I would say. Just ended up being Bob's.
Good old Bob.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I've gone on to random. That is, again, absolutely fabulous. If you'd love to get hold of these, £19.99, look at your saving. £10 saving there. 918370, that's your item number. OK, Bob's. Okay, next. Last but by no means least. Again, absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you nib again. Half of the stock has already gone.
Wow.
And again, those big washable nibs.
Yes.
New knowledge. Washable nibs. Beautiful colour palette. Let me just ram those in like that and then make another mess of showing you the colours. Watch. So, the colours. These are your metallics. These are fab because the shine on that is ace.
Yeah, the metallics I used an awful lot on both the Fox and the Kingfisher, which we will see later, because they're kind of halfway between the pastels and the glitter.
Yeah.
Because the pastels and the glitter are kind of really showy. These are a bit more subtle. They kind of fit somewhere in between. They go brilliantly with the Pearlex.
Yeah,
they just go brilliantly
hand
with
in
the
hand,
Pearlex.
aren't they? They're just phenomenal. And again, so many ways of using these. So, did I leave the... No, I've got the Kingfisher.
I think Kingfisher's there.
Oh, God.
There he is.
So, that's a mixture of your watercolours, the Poscas and the Pearlex.
And the Pearlex, yeah, all 3 on there.
Amazing.
So the watercolour kind of provides a base layer, so that's where that matte kind of finish comes in. The Pearlex is for the sheen, the kind of the big areas that I use the paintbrush with, and then the Posca is for all the details and all the little tiny highlights that are on there.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. OK, stunning. You're saving another £10 here. Only £19.99 if you'd love to go for that collection. The packaging is going to give you ideas of what you can use these for, whether it be ceramic, whether it be on, I don't know, on your glassware. And there's so much upcycling you can do with these as well. Now, 938699, that's your item number. Now, that heavy black card, ridiculously busy. Good grief. We're approaching 70% of the extended delivery stock. OK, that is busy. If you would like these, you know what to do. Check that basket out. It is 076245. That's your item number. Please do not miss out on that one. Oh, something we didn't mention. Is this in front of me? This. Multi-craft pen kit. All the tools I need. Oh, I like this. Can I keep it? I can. Hang on. No, I can't. Oh, you'll have to bear with. Apparently, there should be a freedom price as well on this. Oh, Alison. This looks a bit treaty, doesn't it? Bear with, folks. You're looking at that, but I'm looking at the real thing. Oh.
What you got? It's just in a box.
It's just in a box.
What's not to like about
just in a box?
Beautiful things in a box.
All right. Because we can't open the box because it's still got the stickers on it.
Do you want mine? Look,
yes,
as if by magic. As if by magic.
Oh, it's all right. I've ripped it open. It's a girl possessed.
Christmas.
I know, just as rough at Christmas. OK, so you've got your posh box of goodness. So what have we got in here then, Alison?
So you have a selection of gel pens.
Gorgeous.
in various colours.
Beautiful.
You've got a selection of the Posca pens.
So the nice gel pens as well. I
Yes,
use
they're-
these ones.
Yeah, they're the Uniball, because they're all from the same family company, so you've got real quality going on in there. They're not just any old gel pen at all.
I've got my white gel pen is one of these.
Oh, yes, I swear by
sorted.
that gel pen.
Yeah, so you've got your gel pens.
Yep.
What are these
You've got
ones?
metallic
Oh.
Posca fine line. So I think there's the metallic red, metallic green, metallic blue, and a white.
Amazing. And that's going to have, sorry, they're all
do you
fastened up.
I was going to say, do you want mine?
I'm in it.
She's in. There's no stopping her today.
In it, don't worry, in it. So you've got those. So are these like, they'll be the same kind of flow as the ones we've got on the show? Perfect.
Exactly.
But you've got even more colours, which is amazing.
And the red, the blue and the green are metallic
Amazing.
as well. So they're not just any old. So brilliant for Christmas.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. What are the rest?
So you've got the slightly wider ones. You've got a gold, a black, a pink and a white, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So you've got that slightly wider nib. So if you wanted to do any kind of broader areas, you know, very similar to the painting type, there we go.
Perfect.
There's that amazing bullet tip.
And do you know what? It's although it might be a bit broader, that's actually a real nice, good, fine nib still.
Again, because it holds its shape.
Yeah.
So, you
And
know,
you
you've
can
got the
wash it.
flow. Yeah, you've got the flow of the colour coming out across a broader nib.
Yeah.
But it will still do fine lines as well.
Amazing. So that's black, gold, white and pink. And then your little old drawing pen. So it's decent size as well as that one.
Yeah, 0.5. So
superb. And what is lovely, you've got your little inspiration.
Yeah, and you've got the instructions. If you go to the middle pages of that booklet, it's got all the instructions for how you can finish off your projects.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So you've got what temperatures you need to bake whatever it is at, how you can finish them off, how you can make them scratch resistant, all of those kind of things.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That is a must-have, isn't it?
It is. I've been, literally, mine is here next to me. I've been clutching it for the last 2 weeks.
It's like your little Posca Bible.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Oh, I like this one. Okay, that is a cracking little kit. Only, right, £27.99. That's your price. Has it got a doodah on it? Yes, it does. Freedom. So your freedom price, that's what I meant by doodah, I'm not going to lie. £25.19. That is your freedom price if you want to get hold of that brilliant price. That is such a good gift idea. You're saving £15.80. Brilliant for anyone starting using your Poscas because it is a good starter kit, is that?
It really is. And also in there are some few idea projects. So you've got some template sheets in there for things to trace if you want to. You've got a few cutouts to be making boxes if you want to. You've got the instructions in there too. So, you know, if you are a bit concerned about where on earth am I going to start, how do I use these things, it tells you how to do it. It's got a few projects ready for Christmas, kind of got some Zentangling type things going on in there. There's your transfer sheet so that you can cut those out and line glasses or jam jars or whatever it is. So if you really are concerned about starting and you're thinking, well, I like the idea of it, but what do I do now?
This is the one.
Then, yeah.
That is such a fantastic kit. Okay, if you do want to get into Poscas, to understand the huge range of benefits, then that is absolute must-have. Again, great price, £25.19. Right, sleeves are rolled up. Where are we going now, Alice,
so
in the
that's
this
what
hour?
we did in the last hour. I didn't know whether you wanted to share that.
So if you missed that, please watch it on Rewind. We're on at... No idea. What time were we on?
12.
12. We're on at 12. We're on at 12 o'clock, and that's when Alison actually completed that. It is stunning, isn't it? If you do want to watch that and catch up, please make sure you get hold of it. I love it because in an hour, that is just stunning, absolute stunning. And you can see, I mean, that gorgeous sheen from the Pearlex.
Yeah.
Looks fabulous. If you've any questions, email in studio@hochanda.com.
So I have a toadstool. One toadstool, which I've drawn out in a white watercolour pencil. You can draw it out however you want to, but that's how I've chosen to do mine today. And I've given it a bit of space around because I want to give it a background, and I'm going to start with some watercolour paints.
Beautiful.
And I've chosen very specific colours in the watercolour paints. Normally in watercolours you would go for those ones which are very transparent and you can see the white of the paper through.
Yeah.
But of course this time we don't need to do that. We're working on black, so we can actually go for some of the more opaque pigments.
Wonderful.
And I have gone for Potter's Blue and cobalt green in mine.
That is a lovely colour.
They're really
both
nice.
of them lovely colours. If you do want the watercolour paints, we've got pick and mix for the watercolour paints, so do have a perusal on that their website. We have got loads on that their website. Got loads of colours now from the SAA. Really beautiful, beautiful paints, and of course lovely quality. You pick 3 of those. Just bob them in your basket. Check those out. £16 and 99 pence if you'd like to get hold of your paints.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a vignette.
Marvellous.
Word of the day, because we're on Word of the Day, aren't we? We're on a vignette.
Well, it's your turn now. I'm just sticking with the northern.
Okay. So I'm going to use my spray bottle all the way around the edge. And
why do you do that first?
So that when I put paint down, it will all diffuse into a nothing.
Fabulous.
Hopefully. If I did it by putting paint down first, I'd then be chasing my paint around my piece of paper, whereas here it's buying me a little bit of time.
Right.
It's also really nice to be demonstrating on black for a change, because you can actually see where I put things.
Yes,
yes. It's always a bonus.
Yeah, we can actually see where the paint is.
Yes.
And where the water is.
And I'm going to take the potter's blue and I'm going to work negatively. So I'm going to work up to the toadstool.
Wonderful.
And then you can see when it starts to hit the water, it just diffuses ever so slightly and creates a rather nice effect, and that's what we call our vignette.
It just looks all cloudy, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, and I like that kind of fuzzy, diffused thing going on. It's also a lot less work, I'm not going to lie. So I can use a bit of water back in as well if I want to, and the let's actually just put a little bit of blue underneath as well. So we're giving our toadstool a bit of a backdrop. And then I'm going to use my kitchen roll to just knock the texture out of it to kind of blot off a little bit of that colour, and then what you hopefully get is this really nice pattern going around the outer rim of it.
That looks really cool. It almost looks like misty. It looks quite magical.
Excellent. We're after a bit of fantastical kind of. We're going to use glitter and pearlex and all sorts of things on this, so we're after something a bit magical.
Yeah.
So now I've got the cobalt green.
Which looks beautiful.
It's a lovely colour, it's really soft, and I'm going to do the same with that little bit down there.
And you can see actually now, when we were looking at the paintings at the beginning of the show, you know, and you could see that really gorgeous matte. As that's drying out, you can see the matte.
Yes, you can see it going off, can't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to work a little bit more of that up, because this stem is going to be white and I want it to show up.
Beautiful.
Working my way around, and actually whilst that's a bit wet, I'm going to do my spattering ahead of time today. So where it goes into the water, you get this kind of nice diffused thing. I'm trying not to get you as well, because I'm a bit liberal with this.
I wouldn't even notice.
So I put a bit of texture in that background.
Oh, I like that.
And you can spray it a bit more as well if you want to.
To be honest, get it moving a bit more.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not as delicate and as sensitive as a traditional type of watercolour painting would be. You don't have to be quite so careful with it. And to be honest, where we're using Pearlex and Posca and all the rest of it, if it doesn't quite work, we layer it up. It's not a problem.
That's the beautiful thing about it, isn't it? You've got lots of escape routes.
So, normally I would let that dry.
Okay.
But we'll skim over that. And we will look at, actually what I'll do is I'll put that to one side.
Beautiful.
And we will, while that's drying, we will look at how to mix the gum arabic in with the Pearlex.
Marvellous. Again, if you do have any questions, then please email in about them. It is studio@hochanda.com.
Did we want to mention the answers to that amazing question that we had?
I obviously forgot this and left it on my trolley.
But it appeared as if by magic.
Okay, so in the last hour, a lady emailed in asking if Pearlex could be used for rubbing alcohol. Both of us heard of it, but we were both like, we don't know. So we had emails in to help us. Rachel said rubbing alcohol is the same as isopropyl.
Isopropanol.
That one. Isopropanol.
That's the one.
That sounds, I like that word, isopropanol. Isopropanol. Anyway, so it's the same as isopropyl alcohol, and it's easy to buy. She gets hers off Amazon all the time. You can use it with pigments to make alcohol inks, so it would definitely work with Pearl X to make shimmery ink. Just remember to treat them the same as your alcohol inks. Isopropyl is amazing. It will remove dried up acrylic paints. All those brushes you think are ruined can be resurrected with isopropyl. She's mentioned it so many times just to drum it in my head. As someone who always allows the paint to dry on the brush, it's invaluable. Rachel, thank you. Carol said isopropyl, available from Amazon. And then Janice said, loving the show. I got isopropyl off a well-known auction site. I use it mostly with alcohol inks. Yeah. So, yes. So when you asked about rubbing inks in the first hour, isopropyl is the one that you can get here, and it does the same job.
And I rushed out and bought mine in the break.
You've already got yours. I'm going to attempt to keep that, not lose it, so I can get mine as well. Otherwise, I know I will forget immediately.
So, so thank you ever so much for answering that question. And isn't that the great thing about Hochanda? You've got this amazing community at your fingertips that when you have a question, you go, what is it? And somebody out there will answer.
Isn't that cool?
Brilliant.
It is cool, because that's it. There's so many people who know more than us, which is marvellous.
Well, not hard either. So, here I have got, which one did I go for? Did I go for Super Russet?
Oh. Cheeky bit of Super Russet.
Cheeky bit of Super Russet.
Now, again, if you want colours, email in. So, what did you say your part was?
Well, vaguely, it's 4 parts Pearl X to 1 part gum arabic.
Super.
But I actually put a little bit more gum arabic, I tend to. A, because I'm rubbish at measuring things like that out, and I can't be bothered to work out what 4 times is. So what I do is I put it on and then I mix a little bit in with the water, and then I kind of see what I've got, and then I think, well, if I need it to be a bit thicker, then I'll bring a little bit more of the gum arabic in, and if I need it to be thinner, then I'll add a little bit more of the water.
Wonderful.
But that's how simple it is. There's nothing else you have to do.
So it isn't an exact science. No. It's not, oh, you have to have.
No, absolutely not.
It's going to bind it.
I wouldn't be using it if it was. I can't be doing things that are too precise.
No, me too. And that is just such a gorgeous, rich colour.
Lovely,
beautiful.
Isn't it? Really, really lovely. So here is the Super Russet down on the paper.
That is stunning. And on the black cardstock, just look at the colour of that.
And then what's lovely as well is that the more you pull it out, sometimes with mica powders, the more you pull it out, the more silvery they get.
Yes.
But I've noticed with these that actually they do stay their actual colour.
Yeah.
It's not a sort of dyed mica or anything like that. It's actually continuing to be that colour all the way down
to the end.
Yeah. On the daisy that I did in the first show, I had really filthy water, which was full of Pearl X. And then I happened to mix my watercolour in on the top, and I don't know whether the camera can pick that up, but yes, you can just see that kind of hint of glitter in the background.
Yeah, you can.
So that was literally just from the water, but bound together with the watercolour, and you've got that kind of amazing gold shimmer. It kind of ties in with the centre of your painting as well.
Perfect. So. And it's nice when it's, you know, when you kind of didn't mean it, but it works.
Yeah.
And because that is mixed with the gum arabic, it isn't going to get, you know, it's not going to brush off or anything. That's its fixative.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do get the gum arabic with the varnish if you do want to get hold of that. Again, brilliant to mix your own paints. You can do so much with it. If you would like that, only £9.89. Oh, sorry, that's your Pearl X, £9.89. If you want, you can put, the gum arabic is there at the bottom with the varnish. 183204, £10.99. That's your price.
Right, I'm going to do something a bit different this hour. So I have got my Super Russet mixed up with the gum arabic.
Marvellous.
But I've also got some Potter's Pink watercolour.
Okie dokie.
And this is to just show that you don't have to use them separately, that you can actually mix the two together.
Marvellous.
So I can take a bit of watercolour, I can put extra gum arabic in with that if I want to, or I can move some of the Pearl X over.
If you were using Pearl X in your watercolour paint, would it need gum arabic, or would the gum arabic in the
gum arabic is already in the watercolour paint, and that was how I did the poppy head and the peacock feather.
Beautiful.
So yeah, there's variations to be had,
and I think that's the nice thing as well, isn't it? Because again, you're using products that you've got.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like all your paints that you've got, and you don't need to worry about it. And look at that shine. Okay.
All right. So I've got a bit of that Potter's Pink down.
nice colour,
it's a lovely colour, and a tiny bit of the Pearlex in with it, so it will have a sheen.
That's just going to give it a subtle sheen.
Yes.
Is it?
So it means that around the top, and I'm just going to pop this sort of down on one area of my toadstool.
Beautiful.
And I can use my water to start blending that out. Where I want it to be a bit more shimmery and have a bit more pizzazz, of course, I can pick up the Pearlex, which I've mixed with the gum arabic, and you'll see straight away the difference.
Oh, that is just,
And then it means that you're still working with those kind of techniques that you would do normally in watercolour. You've got some brights, you've got some mids, you've got some darks going on there, and you haven't had to turn yourself inside out to achieve them.
And where it's like, where it's drawn out, that's where you see the black cardstock coming through as well, so it gives you the shadows, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and you're working from your lights to your darks. So perhaps you've been out there and you've been struggling with watercolour, because watercolour is one of the hardest media. I think I know that's a controversial view, but I think it's one of the hardest media to get to grips with. And you're thinking, oh, there's too many rules. This kind of thing is perfect. This sort of mixed media approach to your painting means that you can chuck all the rules out the window.
Good, we like that.
Yes, and you can go, right, what do I feel like creating today? And that is my ethos in painting, really, that yes, of course, there are rules to be learnt. Yes, of course, if you want to learn how to manage your painting, then there's all sorts of things you can learn. But you don't have to.
That's amazing.
You don't have to.
And you're still going to get decent results.
Yes.
You're still going to be able to create something beautiful.
There is nothing like picking up a brush and loading it with paint and chucking it at a piece of paper and going, ooh, look what that did.
Yeah, that looks pretty.
Yeah, that'll do.
Absolutely, and sometimes, I mean, they are the best results because they're more satisfying.
They're more satisfying, and very often in my studio at home, we chuck all the rules out the window and we say, do you know what, just throw some paint at a piece of paper and start worrying less about it.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds really good fun.
Well, it's just because we're adults, aren't we, and we get ourselves so het up by all the rules and doing things properly, and that sometimes we are overtaken by our own inbuilt kind of thing that we have to stick to the rules, and that's the only way of doing it. And I am here to say you can do it how the hell you like.
I like that. Just be a rebel.
Yes.
Be a rebel.
Be an art rebel.
Yeah. Because you'll get something, and like looking at what Alison gets, being a rebel, I think that's quite, you know, it's quite reassuring, is that?
There you go.
I love that. I love that. I love that colour. Look at that.
Super russet toadstool.
That looks ace. I mean, the watercolour paints with the Pearlex are tremendous.
Yeah, you've got that lovely kind of layering. And a lot of the time that's quite difficult to achieve without literally layering it up and layering it up and layering it up. But just kind of putting different things down in different places, hopefully you get a different finish to it.
Stunning. I'm going to go for a recap.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course it is.
OK, have a look at that website. It is so busy. We have got so many good stuff. We've so much good stuff. That sounds better English. If you do want anything, please check your baskets out. We've got your Pearlex. We've got all the different Posca pens. Obviously, we've got that fantastic little box with the goodies in as well. That is such a good beginner's kit. Again, questions, email in studio@hochanda.com. Now, I am going to be right quick so we can get back to our Alison. Are you ready? So, you're picking 3 of these. The price is fabulous. These will last £9.89. That is all you're paying in Chanda Freedom members, no postage. You're picking 3 of these. Because they'll mix with anything, it means you can use them for so many possibilities. And of course, with something like this, it's a mica. So think about using them with your stamps. Think about using them on your MDF when you mix them. Think about using them maybe on your mixed media. There's so many uses. If I was getting these, I'd definitely go for the pearl white, because then you can mix it with the others. I love that blue over there, actually. That is gorgeous, isn't it? Which is that one? Ah, the turquoise in the lead. We all love that. I'll really quickly show you that swatch again. And you can see the way they shimmer. Now, and look at that. Prow. Now, these have been mixed with the actual varnish, and that's why they're not going anywhere. You could literally paint over the top of that. It would not go anywhere. You could stamp over the top of that. I mean, this is a gorgeous thing about it. You could die cut. There's so many ways that you can use these paints. Only £10.99 if you're not part of Hochanda Freedom members, but £9.89 if you are part of Hochanda Freedom. 960 414, that's your item number, if you'd like to go for those. Next, so to mix with them, you've got your gum arabic. So the gum arabic is your powder. That's your adhesive, essentially, your glue, your binder. So that'll allow you to go on lots of different surfaces and to create a paint. Your varnish, that will allow it, as Alison said, it becomes more like an acrylic. So again, brilliant for lots and lots of different surfaces. The varnish itself, you can go over, say, your Posca as well, and that starts sealing everything. Now, if you would like to get hold of them, Alison's shown you how easy it is. Something we were chatting about in the break, actually. If you mix your gum arabic with those and then with water, you can put them in a spritzer. As long as it's not too fine a mister, because you don't want it to clog, but you can put it in a spritzer as well. Make your own spritzers. £10.99 if you do want to get hold of them. 183204. Something that's been ridiculously busy is the paper pads. Ridiculous. It is on extended, going out on the 16th of October. You've got the A3 and you've got the A4. You have got 20 sheets in each. This is 350 GSM. This is heavy weight card for £11.15. If you want to get hold of these, highly recommend checking out that basket because it has been so busy. Well, you've seen the results. I mean, this is good quality card that we're working with today. 076245. Now we start with the Posca family. So first of all, you've got your fine liners. So you've got your black and your white. They've got that little push nib. They'll come out. It comes out really nice and fluid. It does give you an incredible finish. So you've got white and black in that beautiful fluid. You've got your black fine liner pen, which is your normal fine liner, your normal drawing pen. You've then got, and this is different, you've then got a proper, this is a proper brush nib. And I mean, ours is, look, it splits up. It just needs to get wet and then it'll split up proper. But that is a proper fibrous brush nib. How cool is that? With the Posca ink. Proper Posca ink. So it's going to go on loads of surfaces. It's going to allow you to do loads of different things. That is an essential collection. £12.99. 877513. Next, we've got the glitter. How exciting. Posca glitter pens. Imagine glitter on glass. Imagine your lovely little, if you're into doing your stones, imagine those on your stones. Imagine your MDF with your glass. I mean, sorry, I was just going flash. Pew. Okay, I'll show you the swatch. I was just being quick. I was just like, you know, I won't let you look at it. I was just imagining. Now then, have a look at these colours. Again, you've got that solid glitter, but when you pull that colour out, you've got that beautiful, beautiful, soft shimmer. They're just really, really pretty. And again, the opacity on that dark cardstock is just gorgeous. If you want those, £19.99, saving £7 on that collection. It's 365699. Next, my particular favourite is the pastels. Get all of these layer. They dry. And because they dry permanent, they are going to allow you to layer up. And I do think when you look at that, you know, you can see the sharpness of these, you know, just how vibrant the colours remain, even on hard surfaces to paint. So you've got some really nice colours here. And some of them, even though, you know, they look quite, and this is something actually that Alison was saying, you know, they might look quite vibrant in the actual packet, but you can really floor these out. I mean, that is vibrant. That is just beautiful. I don't know, I'm light purple, but that is beautiful. But that blue, amazing. Absolutely amazing colours. Now, £19.99, you're saving £10 on that collection. 918370. Last but by no means least, you have got the metallics. And again, you can go on stone, you can go on glass, even with your metallics. And actually, I mean, with that, you can see the metallic sheen. That is so cool, isn't it? Now, you can, that little, our Posca Bible that does come in that box of all the different Poscas, that's going to tell you all the different ways of heat setting these or sealing them. And, of course, if you're sealing them, then you become washable, but not scratch resistant. But if you varnish over the top, then you've got the scratch resistancy as well. So, all those different surfaces with that gorgeous metallic sheen. And again, these are just beautiful. Good colours, good strong colours, and of course that wonderful, wonderful magical sheen on these. This is on your black cardstock. Do apologise. I'm doing quite well, but it's all gone wrong. There you go. If you do want to get hold of them, £19.99, saving £10 on that collection. 938699. Okay, that wonderful box of goodies. This is such a good beginner's kit. You've got your fine liners, you've got your gel pens in there, you've got your metallics in there as well, but you've got a really good comprehensive collection of instructions. You've got inspiration sheets as well, all for just £27.99, unless you're a Hochanda Freedom member. If you're a Freedom member, you're saving £15.80, only paying £25.19. No postage and packaging. 217841. Okay, shall I read?
Oh, have we got questions?
I don't know. Eddie's emailed in, Edwina, Eddie. She says, hello to Alison and Leonie.
Hello.
Hello. She says, hi. Can the Pearl powders be mixed with a textile medium and used on fabric? Also, can the Posca pens be used directly onto fabric, and if so, do they need fixing?
Yes and yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
So yes, you can mix Pearl with a textile medium, that's not a problem, and set it as per your textile medium suggests.
Superb, that's fabulous.
You can use Posca directly onto textile. Obviously, how absorbent that textile is will kind of dictate how much the pen spreads on the fabric or doesn't spread on the fabric.
Yeah.
You could always give it a coating of textile medium first,
yes,
and then put your Posca pens on top.
Good idea.
And then you iron the reverse, and that will heat set them.
Amazing.
I don't know how well that will
wash.
Yes, in a washing machine type scenario, but certainly a hand wash will be absolutely fine.
Amazing. That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you. That's a good question,
Edwina. Yeah, it's a really good question. Thank you.
Alyssa, sorry, listen, you're there. Earlies. Hi, Leonie and Alison. Could you? Oh, in fact, I was banging on about this when I went up counter. Could you use water? Could you use the water the brush was rinsed in a spritz bottle to create background?
Yes, you can.
What a lovely idea.
Absolutely. That's a genius idea.
Yeah, and then you're not wasting nothing. Boom.
Fabulous.
We love that, Sue.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, you just put everything in it, don't you? Dip your ribbon and everything
Stealing
in.
that idea.
Yeah, having that. Having that, Sue, thank you. So, Samantha, we've got an image. Samantha's emailed and she said, hi, Leonie, Alison and everyone at Hochanda. Yay, the girls say, hi. Callum also says hello. In March, I lost my dad. He had a sign in the garden on wood and the weather was beginning to ruin it. Oh, this is lovely. So I made this to go in its place using my Posca pens. I love them. They are great. We'll fully recommend them. Samantha, that is lovely. Because you don't want that to go, do you? You want
absolutely
that's a good keepsake.
What a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Great lettering as well. Look at that.
That's really, really nice. So, thank you for sharing that,
that's
Samantha.
Lovely.